thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Bow to my sires. Past life flash right by us. Spike your food so you can't digest. I can't digress. Shining on vampires who can't process. The moon over campfires. We on the move, breaking rules, no they can't tie us. Can't buy us. Manila envelope deniers. Control times, haters still clocking. Got dirty Moors trying to resurrect the chauffeur of the real prophet. They trying to get the profit like $1 sign of brackets. Game of tennis, nigga. I'm just here to make the bracket. These crooked governments got royalties and cuffs, and all we got is nationality. Like art inside a gallery. So pardon my mentality. Bloodline stretching like an empire. That's all the way from Barbary to Tartary. My mind's ecclesiastic. Prophets show me proofs inside the circle 7. Asiatic. We not Negro, black or colored. Don't thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, packed up all my ammunition. Backed off all this competition, they don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. All my time he ticking, copy by the minute. Got these shots for spinning.
7 in the quadrants, G between the compass squares, Samson between Boaz and Yoakum. Never scared, ships arrive in thousands. We are not alone the way some think. I think they are not us but clones. Looking up drones, staring back, got track 5G phones, implants, check their heads and their backs. Adam's apple big, what kind of female is that? Eyes color change like a chameleon, plus underweight tracks. Why is sticking out cyborg holes, Miss Frankenstein, no protection needed. Self-lubricating vagina, so anthropomorphic. Then go for more dick than he can give it. An android goes living. Skynet is NSA, surveillance is global. Since refusal to be noble, force creed is Constantinople. Force GMO, nanotech, air clouds. Sound weapons, heart attack guns for non-social distance crowds.
Don't thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, packed up all my ammunition. Backed up all this competition, they don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. All my time he ticking, copy by the minute. Got these shots for spinning.
This is what you need to know. Stuff you need to know, fellas, ladies. Stuff you need to know.
Don't thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Bow to my sires. Past life flash right by us. Spike your food so you can't digest. I can't digress. Shining on vampires who can't process. The moon over campfires. We on the move, breaking rules, no they can't tie us. Can't buy us. Manila envelope deniers. Control times, haters still clocking. Got dirty Moors trying to resurrect the chauffeur of the real prophet. They trying to get the profit like $1 sign of brackets. Game of tennis, nigga. I'm just here to make the bracket. These crooked governments got royalties and cuffs, and all we got is nationality. Like art inside a gallery. So pardon my mentality. Bloodline stretching like an empire. That's all the way from Barbary to Tartary. My mind's ecclesiastic. Prophets show me proofs inside the circle 7. Asiatic. We not Negro, black or colored. Don't thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, packed up all my ammunition. Backed off all this competition, they don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. On my Tommy ticking, copy by the minute. Got these shots for spinning.
7 in the quadrants, G between the compass squared, Samson between Boaz and Yoakum. Never scared, ships arrive in thousands. We are not alone the way some think. I think they are not us but clones. Looking up drones, staring back, got tracked 5G phones, implants, check their heads and their backs. Adam's apple big, what kind of female is that? Eyes color change like a chameleon, plus underwear tracks. Why is sticking out cyborg holes, Miss Frankenstein, no protection needed. Self-lubricating vagina, so anthropomorphic. Then go for more dick than he can give it. An android goes living. Skynet is NSA, surveillance is global. Since refusal to be noble, force creed is Constantinople. Force GMO, nanotech, air clouds. Sound weapons, heart attack guns for non-social distance crowds.
Bone thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up the spots we got to drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, packed up all my ammunition, packed up all this competition. They don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. On my Tommy ticking, copy by the minute. Got these shots for spinning.
This is what you need to know. Stuff you need to know, fellas. Ladies. Stuff you need to know.
I self-law and master. Focus on breath when mind or heart moves faster. Focus on higher when lower self is set tripping. And we'll make up the bed or clean the kitchen. When little voice speaks, inner ears open, listen. Change the world, merge action with vision. Learn through symbolism, numeric metaphysicians. Extraordinarily moving with synchronism. Repetition, rendition, cognition. One with a lie from belief to fruition. Thought ammunition, mental inquisition. Circumstances will do their best once in position. Bliss you instead of bless. When a Christian sneezes, immune system of facts. Mass for diseases to the source. We all return, that should be celebrated. From the body plantation, so released, not regulated. We all fall victim, we're all called Christian, but Islam is our faith, restore all faith. We all fall victim, we're all called Christian, but Islam is our faith, restore all faith. We all fall victim, we all call Christian, but Islam is our faith, restore all faith. We all fall victim, we're all called Christian, but Islam is our faith, restore all faith.
Render unto Caesar. I don't need a Constantine, I mean a constant reminder. Sounded like my Sunday school teacher. I learned to discern the divine order. If I don't move my foot, you can't step over. Now you see why Yoshua was murdered. Secret orders in the chamber, Asiatic pictures. 7 ethers or 7 esters. Fellow children or a child curses scriptures. 69, an infinite number. Put it together, you will discover. Finite thoughts that limits each other. There's no boundaries. Ya Allah is same energy. Different prophets with different remedies. 5 principles, same frequencies. Echo through the halls of Manipri. Don't be mad at me. Islam for the world. Philosophies and principles. You emotional over personals. Divine and national. So let my vine and fig grow. Past the Negro. Philosophies and principles. Past the Negro.
I see the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential. And I see squalor. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars.
Marcus Garvey got my right, True Ali got my left side. Hook pulling for devil's hides with the valley of death stride. Blade dirty like it doesn't shower. Tongue is the sword. Morris Master MC Moor. I self am Lord. Accent of Tony Martin and Kwame Ture. They poison Steve Coakley, exposing the black Boule. Threatening Ivan Van Sertima with deportation to his own land he's in. So you know some Masons are pulling strings to shut him up for saying Olmecs. Speaking the truth of those existing before Toltec and Aztecs and Mayan. So-called blacks are the Hawaiian and the American and the free white man. Stop the blood clot crying. Irish nigga fighting a dancing monkey. Disgrace the race, slap a mumble rap chunky.
Man, I've seen the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential. And I see squalor. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars.
Marcus Garvey got my right, Drew Ali got my left side. Hook pulling for devil's hides with the valley of death stride. Blade dirty like it doesn't shower. Tongue is the sword. Morris Master MC Moor. I self am Lord. Accent of Tony Martin and Kwame Ture. They poison Steve Coakley, exposing the black Boule. Threatening Ivan Van Sertima with deportation to his own land he's in. So you know some Masons are pulling strings to shut him up for saying Olmecs. Speaking the truth of those existing before Toltecs and Aztecs and Mayan. So-called blacks are the Hawaiian and the American and the free white man. Stop the blood clot crying. Irish nigga fighting a dancing monkey. Disgrace the race, slap a mumble rap chunky. Take your mask off, show you the future, give you nervous sweats. Listen to yourself singing about Molly and Percocets.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate, so we can buy shit we don't need.
I see y'all wearing skinny jeans and sagging in sports bra shirts, calling Ho Chi to bury them in Calgary far outskirts, too grizzly to bear. I'm fair falling off this frisbee, I swear. Never mind sight impaired, stay on my square. 7 and 4 quadrant ring. I'm on my knees, not praying. I'm strangling gin with Rudraksha beads. Some might say mala, some might call it a Buddhist chain. In times of war, everything is a weapon just the same as everything above has it below. Check the facts and stone her if you can find one. Ask a pharaoh what Orion and Sirius have to do with the plateau of Giza. Ancestors thought project place to place like Freezer. More scientists, Sufi, shut up and down believers. Make those with little faith become ancestral receivers. Through signs and symbols, rhymes and signals. Either abandon or get your birthright like a retriever. Abandon or get your birthright like a retriever. No need to bring it back, you need no shepherd. Stop being a sheep, black, stop wasting effort. Stop letting traders chill, drop them off in deserts. I buzz a dinner, a sellout, before I get the hell out. I listen to what Drew Ali taught, he didn't have to yell out. Ref, bring the bell out, Shango, the chicken heads out. Merge shaman stones and tiger eyes, help the spell out. Boule Bay, the reason El Shabazz and Ali fell out. Moor's disgruntled and watching people with brows crumble to be exalted, but praise themselves, never humble. Begging for props, what the segregation, but calling the cops, then calling them racist after someone gets shot or beat to a pulp or choked out. R.I.P. Their ancestors let your devil self haunt their dreams. Tortured forever and never have peace, never. So low, make their head hurt with biometric pressure.
We're children of history, man. No purpose, no place. We have no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our lives.
Peace, boys. Islam. We're here.
Islam.
We're here. We're here. What's good, Moor?
Islam, Green Sheik. Islam, Moors.
Islam to all the Moors worldwide. If anybody wants to get in, just, hit the link. It's right there. If anybody has any questions, you could put those in all caps so that way it doesn't get lost with all the other typing in the chat. And if you see anybody else start doing that, you know where they got it from. Because nobody types their stuff in all caps. None of these stuff. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. We'll probably be jumping over a little bit today. But there was already one question, I think. And Brother Yusuf, you could get in on this too. I believe I've seen Brother C. Freeman L. wear a fez with writing on it before, although I have no evidence he was a so-called Shriner. Could it be? So what we always go to is we always go to the adepts for verification of certain things that might not be documented in the form of, there's a, a book or whatever that you're going to get the quote unquote the answer in. But when we go to the adepts and we study them, we realize certain things if we exercise our five senses like we're supposed to do. So we have the good brother C.M. Bay, Charles Mosley Bay. And Charles Mosley Bay is PhD, LLD, 3rd, 33rd, 360-degree Master Mason, free Moorish Master Astrologer, Moorish Constitution Lawgiver. That would be his quote-unquote degrees. This is what he's proficient in. Now notice, right? He's a 3rd, 33rd, 360-degree Master Mason. Where's his letters on his fez? How come his fez doesn't have letters and he's a Mason? Master Mason on top of that. Not just master, but mastered the 33rd. Mastered those. He has full knowledge, 360 degrees in the 3rd and the 33rd. Right? And then the 333 is the 9, the 360 is the 9, where you realize that he knew where all the stuff was. You didn't have to go through 33 degrees. All you need is 2. You're a Moor. Once you have Moorish constitution law and you have Moorish astrology, you're a Mason. Have you mastered the degrees? Well, this is what he's showing you. He mastered the degrees. But if he mastered the degrees, how come his fez doesn't have writing on it? So now we put C. Freemanel's picture up now, right? So now we put C. Freemanel up now. And in putting C. Freemanel up, you're going to see he has the marked fez, right? Marked fez. But sometimes he has the not marked fez, the African stuff. Sometimes he has the fez that he would normally be wearing because he's a Moor. So with regard to him and wearing the fez with the writings on it, he's an ascended master at this point. So no one could question him on anything. Not because he's bigger than whatever and all that stuff, but because he's not here. So what you get what you get. You have to decipher anything. He was a Moor, he was a Mason, he was an African guy, he was a black guy, he was whatever, he was all that stuff. But when we go check his lessons, he never said he's black, he never said he's African, he never said whatever like that. He was spitting Moor science every day, all day. Right? If somebody presents this to you, and nobody ever presented this to you, if somebody presents this to you, They could wear a Mark Fez if they want to. Me personally, I ain't even. I'm not even. I'm not even in the realm of caring what's on their head. I want to know what's in their heart and what's in their mind. And when we talk about C. Freeman L, I don't give a what anybody says. If he wants to wear Mark Fez, all power to him. Just give me them lessons. But I yield the floor. There's a lot more.
Islam. Now, real quick, Grand Sheik. I remember years ago when the mothers had said you can tell how far somebody is in their studies by their question. You know, like it's a good thing because you know they're getting into the information, but they need to watch them videos. Every C. Freeman L video, you need to watch it over and over and over and over and over. Because if you watch every C. Freeman L video, he told you he wasn't a Mason in that aspect of the organization. And he tell you that he teach Mason. And he tell you where the word Freemason even come from. It's really free. It's free Moor, and he gives you the reference, the author who wrote the book, and everything. The language it was in, he breaks it all down. So, like the Grand Sheik said, more power to him if he's marking his fez because he breaks it down. He knows exactly where it come from and everything. Like he's not chartered Freemason. No, he's not that. He's not, and he tells you that. It's not my opinion. He said it. He said, I remember now that's the other thing too, because somebody wrote the question. There's another guy who made a video, who tries to discredit C. Freeman L with the same thing by saying he marked his fez, he was a Mason, and trying to throw stain on him. Now, I don't know if he's trying to say that in his question. I can't see the question. I don't know the Moor's tone. But other people try to discredit him because he walked around with a marked fez, but they never listened to him, and he told you he wasn't part of none of that stuff. He told you that, but he teaches them. He ain't denying that. He said he teaches Freemasons. He know all about it. He know the symbols and everything, but he's not here for Boys and Girls Club stuff. He break all that stuff down. He break it all down. That's why I said they just seen the picture of him and never studied his lessons, didn't hear nothing he said, nothing, because he tells you. You can YouTube the C. Freeman L video where he's talking about Freemasons. You can type it right in. It's gonna come up. He'll tell you.
Right, and with regard to the Mason fez thing, right? For Moors, Drew Ali told Moors, don't mark your fezes so that we could be clean. So as soon as you see people with marked fezes, you're gonna get caught up in the messenger. It's not about the messenger. We as Moors don't mark our fezes, but as in the case of C. Freeman L, a nationalized Moor that doesn't need a marked fez, if he has a marked fez, based on the work that he put in and he's an ascended master, we're not even going to question it.
Exactly.
It's about the message with him. With him, it's about the message. It's not about what he's wearing. But when it comes to individuals, just general individuals or whatever, don't be going out there and say, well, that Moor had a marked fez and Kudrow said, listen to the Moor. No, we're not saying listen to Moors with marked fezes.
Right.
We're not saying listen to people with marked fezes. Marked fezes is an abomination to the Moors.
Right. It's Grand Sheik. May I interject?
Oh, please
Camelback. Camelback right off this right quick.
Turkey back. We just
turkey back. Yeah, this turkey back. All right. C. Freeman L. When I talk about this brother right here, you know what I mean? He was a Mason, but he knew his bloodline dominates Masonry, okay? Which organization that he was a part of. So he took it upon himself to free himself from the oath that he took to the lodge, because his bloodline supersedes the oath, because Moors brought Masonry. Okay, what people don't get is that Masonry is our birthright. That's why the prophet told Moors that's coming in not to mark your pheasants, because you're not tied down to these European shit. Okay, let's just put it in that perspective. You're not tied down to a European Yoruba. Your allegiance is to your people, to Moors, not to the European Yorubos. Yes, we're supposed to look out for the Yorubos. Yes, they are our children, but your allegiance is to your own bloodline. So if you are a master mason and you are stepping outside of the lodge, okay, then you are practicing you're practicing more science, because your prophet came to you, Noble Drew Ali, Sharif Abdul Ali. So if Sharif Abdul Ali came to you in your heart and told you to straighten up, then you are still affiliated with those the Masons, but you're still going to go above and beyond for your nation. That's the only way that we can acknowledge a Mason. We don't care about you having your feds on, but we are distinctive because we are clear, clean, pure, upright, just like the prophet said. We are a pure and clean nation. So for Moors who haven't even been a part of a Masonic organization, you see what I'm saying? So we still Masonic, we still Islamic, and we still Sabir, or Sabian, you want to say, or Jewish, if you want to say, because we all that and then some. That's why we as nobles, when we get this information, we're supposed to be doing it the proper way. And that is what? Bringing in the knowledge, bringing in the light, not shunning people away, not keeping people, how can I say, clandestine. So as far as the noble, C. Freeman L., I took my fez off to the noble because he chose to stand up, just like C.M. Bay, another one that was a 360 Master Mason, 720. So what is up in your heart, Moors, is up to you. You are the Moor. You are the High Magi. You are, the prophet in these days and time, because the prophet came to us, and we have to what the prophet said, imitate I, the prophet. So if the prophet said imitate I, the prophet, that means that you got to be upright, pure, and clean, and noble, just like the prophet was. Not dirty, not shady, not putting your people in some type of bull crap, like enslaving them with feathers and turbans on. Because our prophet did say that. He said, Moors, be careful. There's Moors that will come to enslave you because they still have their allegiance to the damn Masonic lodge instead of their bloodline. So what is it? Is it your bloodline, or is it your Masonic lodge that you got your you took your oath to? Which one trumps what? Because if I was in the lodge and if I was a Mason, you see what I'm saying, and my prophet came to me and freed me, well then Masonry, I'm sorry, I gotta gotta break ties. That's straight it for y'all.
Yep, straight up. Just like everything else, there's
right,
certain
Moore.
things. There's certain things that are intellectual property that when you nationalize, you still keep it.
Islam.
You know what I mean? But there are certain things that, you give up once you say I'm a Moor. You're not playing around with certain things anymore.
That's it. And that's why the prophet told us, the ones that's coming in, you clean fez. But the Moors that's already that you already have affiliations. You already took an oath, but at the same time, your bloodline trumps it. Period. So it's up to us, Moors. Moors got to be the ones. They gotta have to be the vanguards because we see the dirtiness that goes on a daily basis. Just like this guy, pocket watching, JT pocket watcher, Sharif Adnil Bay, dirty, 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 dirty. Then you got hoodwink swindler, dirty, 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 European. Yes, he's dirty. And the rest of the get along gang. Okay? They all are got big claims in their businesses, Moors. Like they don't need you to be Moors. They need you to be black people. They need you to be colored folks, Africans, Americans, and Native Americans, and all this Indian crap. Stick to your nationality, then you're going to get salvation from your nationality, because your nationality is tied to you within a birthright, not a label, not a brand, which we call ourselves that on a daily basis. Black, I'm Negro, I'm colored. Then you got all these psych operations as far as the news media, Ahmaud Arbery. Well, that's Ahmaud Bay, okay? And they sentencing United States citizens, the European Eurobos, to life, right? Right? But in actuality, I know that once you come into the system as a black person, African American, you don't have no rights, you don't have anything tied for your salvation. So now they putting out in this Mockingbird season of electrifying television, okay, that Arbery got justice, okay? In actuality, if everybody had a nationality and was a Bey or a El or a Ali or a Pasha, okay, then you'll have remedy. You won't have to worry about these Europeans giving you remedy, because you're already going to make sure you get remedy, because your studies is making sure that you get remedy. Not no damn European Yoruba. Okay? You have to be the eye of the beholder. I self-law am master. Not the other way around. So for us to get remedy, just like I was talking to my Moor, I was like, yeah, that's a psych operation. Arbery is a Bey. Arbery, Bey. Sorry, go get your damn nationality, fools. Get it. Because that's going to be the only way you have a salvation. See what I'm saying? So they spin the narrative. They put out the psych operations. They got out people believing in fairy tales. Okay? That's all they doing, is keeping us distracted, Morris, because the end of the day is nationality. And I yield the flow with that, Grand Sheik.
Islam more. Before we play this thing, Brother Kasir, you got anything to add on? I don't know how long you got in there.
Islam, what? No, I just got in like 5 minutes ago.
Islam.
But
Islam, more.
But I was Islam, Morris. I was hearing about the whole Ahmaud Arbery case. But come on, guys, Crisiscast.com is a real. Like, just go to it. Like, because certain stuff is still real in your mind. You think that these people is about to give some justice to some black situation? Come on, like in the picture they show you, he's in a goddamn tux.
In a tuxedo, Morris.
what do you think is going on here? That's not just.
Yo, they're breaking you up already.
Waiting for him. Why does he run towards the roadblock? What? I mean, guys, come on now. If that's real, you don't know what reality it looks like no more. That's not how things work. You don't just already know some guys going. It's just like how kind of like Mike Brown shit was. The police, he knew where he was going already, and even though the damn guy in the store didn't call the cop. So it's like, what is this? Fake cop arrested. You know, the guy when they go to when they go to the case, it's like a whole nother guy. And don't think that this doesn't have anything to do with that other Crisiscast situation with the dude. Can't remember his name, but he's coming to court with his hand in his lapel. Supposed to be some guy that shot up everybody.
the
Remind you.
Rittenhouse, yeah.
Rittenhouse. That's a Rittenhouse is a square in Philadelphia. Do you know? Literally, it's called Rittenhouse Square in Philadelphia. This is where all the business go down in Center City. So when I seen his name, Rittenhouse, I'm just like the square, and man, no. And then when he came to court with the hand on the lapel, who was that for? The judge?
Nope. That's for the Masons to let them know that, you know what I
The
mean?
judge?
The judge. Yeah, he's a Mason.
The
All of
judge?
them are fraternal orders, though. That's what we don't. What people got to understand, that we deal with fraternal orders on a daily basis, just
Now,
listen.
But wait a minute. Jason Thornton, his name was Jason M. Thornton. Did y'all know that? You didn't even know who JT was. Little bit of studying, little bit of looking him up. JT Pocket Watcher is Jason M. Thornton. He works for the Department of Treasury. He's a tax advisor, and he's the treasurer of Phi Beta Sigma.
Phi Beta Sigma.
And then Cujo sent me some documents dealing with how homosexuality is plaguing the goddamn fraternity.
Hold on, we can't make this up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. We can't make this up because me and Yusuf built before this, right? And we said what we're going to start with. This is what we're going to start with. We can't make this up. And then keep in mind what we were talking about before this relative to C. Freeman L. ETC, right?
Yep. It's more, yes.
They said 80% of the people.
Oh, he's scared.
Go ahead.
So what happened is this. What happened is you have these new guys, and what they do is they hang around each other totally. One reason why, because rap is an all-male discipline. Like what we think. When you think about the amount of sisters that's actually rapping and stuff like that, you can count them on one hand. And you know what I'm saying? And in each era, it's only damn near two. You see? But you can count them on one hand as far as the amount of sisters that's actually doing something. So, the phenomenon can be infiltrated and reinforced in the aspect of the government being able to experiment with all types of things they want to deal with. So this leads to the aspect of the gay aspect of the rapper industry. Well, why not? Because it's clear that homosexuals can find, especially males can find sanctuary in an all-male discipline. You see what I'm saying? The woman is relegated to an object. You know what I'm saying? And I have a piece right here. It's interesting that they're giving complaints right here on. See, did I have the whole article, the entire article? But they're giving complaints on how the dark-skinned women in rap videos, and it says dark-skinned women have been banished to the background of hip-hop videos. Here's an article coming out. I guess it's called The Blackout, and I don't know if this is coming from the original. Let me get Whitewash, but I don't know if it's the same associated with that conscious page. This is one here where they talk about dark-skinned women have been banished from rap videos. They did a whole survey on it and saying that they are in the background, and in the foreground it's always some light-skinned sisters.
They changed it.
So here you're dealing with objects in the first place. And when you're dealing with objects, or women as being objects, and being something for them no more than being a part of the backdrop of the terrain. It's easy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the initiation.
With the hip hop, but because it's all about brotherhood.
Right.
Like brotherhood. Bro, they started us when we was young. Little Rascals was getting us into this stuff. And putting the women in their own club, and we got our own boys club, and get her out of here. We got our own little boys club. Yep. That was the Little Rascals. From that on to Amos and Andy. The whole thing was to get us out of the mindset of temple. Make it lodge. Make it church-esque.
Right.
but it's crazy because when we go into this guy Jason, the pocket watcher, his position being the treasurer for the Phi Beta Sigma, in this article Cujo sent me, based on the same thing that Bobby was talking about, brotherhoods and orders dealing with homosexuality, and not just like just being gay. You're dealing with people who were never welcomed into society. They weren't they weren't the cool kids. They got picked on and shit, chased home. So now when they in college, they got these people just like them, accepting them in from when they wasn't accepted into society in the normal sense. Now we have an order for you to be accepted. What else is accepted that he's hiding in a closet they can't show people outside in the society? His his gayness, man, like his sexuality. So the other ones that find out that he's gay in there, now we got another secret. And then they said 80% of all the people who make it to the top positions, president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, treasurer, that means that like they said 80% of them is the gay ones, the ones at the top.
Of course.
So I'm like, it's crazy, Jason. Now we go from him talking trash about Noble Drew Ali and Taj to might be a fraternity gay guy.
And maybe not even might.
He only got.
Let me turkey back off of this. Hey, he's talking about pocket watching, Morris. Pocket watching? What? Who pocket watches? Women pocket watch.
Because he got a degree in business, Moore. So when Moores is talking about you don't gotta pay taxes, and because not just because we saying it, Donald Trump said it in a damn presidential debate. Remember?
Of course, but what I'm trying to say is though, Moore, is that who pocket watches like that? Women pocket watch like that because it went over our heads. Pocket watching means get your hand out of my pocket. It went over my head, but I'm just saying as far as because I was going to break it down, the pocket watching theory. Well, pocket watching, just like you said, Kasir, is them like Malcolm said, get your hand out of my pocket, right? When they came up and shot Malik El Hajj, right? So the same thing, pocket watching. You see what I'm saying? Women do that. They watch your pocket, see he's successful, girl. He makes this, he gets that, he does that. So you're pocket watching. At the same time, we Moors say that we are tax exempt because without proper representation, there's no taxes, right? So if that comes into play, right, that means that Mr. JT, who has a business degree in taxing and treasury and stuff like that, then he will be out of a job. He won't be able to dupe people to come and make these Federal Reserve notes anymore. So that's why he's saying pocket watching, because he don't want Moors to be national. Moors be national, there's no more pocket watching. It's like his whole thing is just burnt down. So that's why he had to come and attack Taj Tariq Bey, because Taj Tariq Bey is the one that's putting out this information, telling Moors that they are the sovereigns of the land, they part and parcel, and you ain't got to pay these taxes if it's not in proper representation. So that's why he have to come after Taj Tariq Bey. Islam, and I yield the floor with that more.
Islam.
The down low mail and all this other thing that I've been talking about infiltrated into the whole rap thing. You see what I'm saying? Into the whole rap aspect. Plus, you got for the last 15 since Two Live Crew first to predicate this thing, you got a culture where you calling them bitches and hoes for the last fucking 10 years. Right. So here goes that if you're gonna have a down low male, which is this metrosexual or whatever we call these new forms of black homosexuality, it can literally the rap community. What you got a whole crew of rappers. You know what I'm saying? That's gay. You know what I'm saying?
Literally calling their own mama.
And not only that, here's the new thing. Here's the new thing. Now we know the black rappers this. No matter how thugged out they were, they always put the mama on a pedestal in the videos. We see that whole thing. Hell, Tupac coined the whole thing a Thug Nation. But 9 years ago in 1994, he did a whole thing on Mama. You know what I'm saying? Now, the king of rap now, like Elvis Presley, is Eminem. And he's reversed it because 90% of his has been anti-mama. How his mother is fucked up. So here's the white man done come in and done put this, elevated this guy, gave him the Oscar, the Academy Award, and relegated him to the highest level of rap. And now he the king. Who would ever thought that the king of rap in this day, because you got Jay-Z is supposed to be the top black rapper, but he is not as big as Eminem. Why? Because they got more white people in the country and they don't even need black rappers now.
That's right. And there's more white people listening to it than black people.
That's right.
For real.
Right. So he's the king of rap now.
So again,
hold that right there. Hold that thought right there, Grand Sheik, because I want to talk
They
about
said Tupac.
Nah, I want to talk about the demographic about black people, so-called white people. Now they changed the demographic.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about that, Kasir, about the demographic, about how they changed the demographic. These people control the industry, so they can put whoever the fuck they want to put up there as king. Okay, they control the Oscars, they control the Grammys, they control every aspect of whatever type of bullshit ass trophy they're gonna give you, which is after our gods and deities, okay? And that's how they control the narrative, Morris. These people, I was locked up with people who were fire rappers, will never make it. You understand me? Will never make it, but will eat Eminem up off the top of the dome, just rapping, because that's all they do all day is rap and write rhymes. You see what I'm saying? But they never had any exposure. So if they never had any exposure, then you know what I mean? Yeah, they won't be considered as the greatest or have any other people, bigging them up. It's so much talent here in the Americas, Morocco. It's not even funny, Morris. And I yield the flow with that.
Islam.
Do y'all notice how they're trying to trick people into the industry by telling them it's a possibility of it going independent?
Yep.
Like, so with the whole dog thing, he actually had his chip set up to see. They had us thinking that if you get your own record label, you're good, and that's you having your own. Dog showed us that's all an illusion. You got to buy. You got to go half with the distribution, and you already know you got to have some money to do that. Like you got to have, you know what I mean, money. You have to have some fiat stacked and planned for this. You got to be able to play ball with them. Meaning he said that it takes $2 million at least for a single. You hear what I'm saying?
Islam, more. I hear you.
And how many singles you need? At least 3? Like,
3.
I'm talking about hits, though. The best joints you ever heard around your neighborhood, around the tri-state, around the, half of the nation. Like to everybody you go, they like, yo, that's a hit, bro. And then it can't sound like nothing you ever heard. And then you got to keep doing that, right? So do it 3 times, you got 9, right? That's about an album.
Yep.
But how much money you just spent? 2,000? I mean, 2 million times
2
9?
million. 2 million times 9 more.
18 million? To put out so what you gonna need is the distribution, some money to be put up for you. But what you about to do for this damn blood money that we about to give you? All these damn rappers that you love so much died based upon these contracts, based upon this money, based upon these routing numbers we about to hook you up with.
Because it's all the insurance game, Morris. Like imagine Morris, that the hip hop industry, right? You worth billions, so they insure you for billions. So if they murk you, everything goes back to them. Your royalties, everything. That's why when you're dead, you'll hear your song still. or you hear your little rap tune still in these commercials because they own you. They own your
But
contracts.
that's the equity to go back to they industry or their bank accounts, because they don't never give it to the family. And this is what we looking at. People
Mm-hmm.
people in the rap game that we have respect for, or the Hollywood industry that we have respect for, like the Bill Cosby's before we knew. And then why don't we have respect when we get older and when we come with knowledge? Because y'all don't have no balls. You can't do anything, Bill. You can't do a damn thing. 1 minute is like, you saying it like it's crazy. It's, to me, it's just insane. Like, you supposed to be the father of everybody and all that, but you can't even do nothing. You can't even own anything. Like, you can't even attempt to buy something out of some contract, or you'll end up dead.
Mm-hmm. Because it's the contract they sign, Morris. It's the contract that they sign. And they most of them are Masons, and they take blood oaths to the contracts, and most of the contracts are set in blood. You see what I'm saying? Like, they sacrificial. Like, you can't really get out of those contracts once you put your Johnny Hancock on it, and you never read it. And then you'll go buy you a lawyer that they own. You know what I mean? Everything that's in the industry, these people control. All right. So the only way you can I self law and master is to really truly be I self law and master. Control your own contracts, control everything. Get you a nationality. Because if you don't, these people's gonna wolf you. And I mean sacrificial lamb you, put you on the cross and peer you like Yahshua. Okay? And I really mean that, because all the aspects and all the talent is coming and generating off of your energy, okay, and your capability and your thought process to really put these rhymes in effect. But yo, we can go into the Ghost Riders too. You see what I'm saying? And image, we can go into that too, and we can go into nepotism too, about the whole industry. So this can be a whole lesson, Morris, and I yield the flow with that.
Islam, Donnell.
Islam, peace and love.
Peace, Moor.
Oh man, I've been having such a challenge. I got you on the screen in the room on the YouTube, but since the last time you were live, when I typed in certain things in the chat, then all of a sudden I couldn't get through, and I couldn't even see the message that before the block.
For real.
And I said, wow. And then today, it's been blocked out all that time. And then I got limited pictures, icons to use. So you see the thing I put in there first.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I got a word in. So that's when I put the other message. And then I saw your link. So I came to the computer, and I'm so glad I did.
Islam. Glad you're here. Glad you made it.
Islam, I thank you all for being there. I've always taken in so much from you guys. Grand Sheik, you have been that light at the end of the tunnel for me.
Islam.
And the tunnel, man, my environment, the things I have to deal with. I have to deal with all the unconsciousness in my environment.
Yeah.
And you know how difficult that could be. You don't know, at what point will the spirit of the enemy come through any one of them.
Right.
And they don't mean harm. It's just all they know or don't know.
Right.
But you know what? I was trying to get, is there an exact date on the prophet's death? I'm trying to match up some information on that.
What are you matching up with as far as
according to his birth, he was born on a Friday. So I'm imagining that according to his death, he would have died on a Friday as well. And that would be such a great, supporting factor to the all of truth that I know there is.
I would say that the age that he died at having more significance to the overall message.
I could appreciate that as well.
Than the Friday, even though because I don't even know, I never even checked the day to see what day that was, July 20th, 1929.
Right, see, to me, the other thing about that has to do with, you know, the different timelines, like where from the special that Raj just done, you know, showing us how time and calendar dates and times can offset a certain reality, and where someone had commented that how certain folks get discouraged in making New Year's resolution because they don't know what the new year was.
Mm.
And so it's that significance of time as well that you know, I can check that date and
It was a Saturday. It was a Saturday.
yeah, but see, now that's where the hour would be important. See, was it before 6 or after 6 p.m.? And you know, that would, you know, again, this is just my own personal in-depth
Right.
walk. And
Right.
just like I had the message that they blocked me out on was that I had done a little bit of background on the Organization of American States, where their history downplayed the prophet's session to the point as if it was a minute thing. You know, they even left it out the sequences of their meetings, and somewhere along the end they squeezed it in. And then I checked how you say, reenacted or reconstructed the organization, because it was the Pan American Conference at one time, and they I think it was around 1957 or between 55 and 57.
Remember, it's a mirror of the UN. Remember, UN was the League of Nations, just like
right. That was 1948.
Right, but it's the same. Even though in the years moving forward, they've sort of incorporated. They have an origin of being for human rights, children's rights, certain things that are inalienable. They stand for.
Yes.
You know, so it's a mirror of the UN. It's the UN over here. It's how it should be looked at. It's the UN for this jurisdiction.
Yes, and even what's his name? Was it Ralph Bunch or somebody Bunch? I believe was his name.
But that's why the stuff didn't go, because why are they going all the way over there? They're from over here. Of course they're gonna deny you.
Right. It's just that what I was pointing at was that there's a connection to the reconstruction that took place. Most and definitely. When they reinserted the American organization, and as you say, it's a reflection, but they redone their how you say, their constitution or their bylaws or whatever, and you find a whole lot of missions with democracy included in place of what we know.
Yeah, but that's just like us having a license or something like that.
Exactly.
It's out of necessity. It's not we're with them.
Exactly.
In order for you, the people, to have a place to complain, we're gonna have to say democracy for the world. That's an incorporation to be down with it and listen to the complaint if it comes to that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, and I agree 100%. And you know, it's just like I said, being a light at the end of the tunnel. All the information you brothers have and mothers have been bringing along, and I mean, I just been eating it up along with the books and things that I've been able to, you know, tag on to, and then all the other reference points that are hidden in the different scriptures that we were, chased away from reading. There are hidden gems of a lot of principles,
Right.
and so I mean, it's a beautiful journey to me. All right, and bringing that remedy is like, that's the one thing that they had really taken out of the schools was application, but I never lost it because I went in with it and I continued it, and I went through different things, applying to make sure to test of whether this is genuine information or not.
Mm.
And it has kept me afloat thus far, and I just continue on that walk. I become as active as possible with and according to those things that are attacking me in my environment. As it seems like a universal lesson for me to keep growing.
Mm.
So I appreciate it all. And as I say, I appreciate each one of you guys and mothers. And even though I don't see any mothers on here right now, but man, it's an awesome affair. No, we can't give up truth once we have it. We can't turn out the light once it's on.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Islam, I rest and thank you for hearing my voice.
Islam, thank you for being here, more. Appreciate it. And like we say, or as the Quran says, I mean, it's your sovereignty that you gave to us to do what it is that we're doing.
Islam.
There would be no need for us if there's the people. The people are needed for us to be. Because like we say, when you say the light at the end of the tunnel, that was for you to see. That wasn't for all these whoever else to see. Whoever sees the light, that's who it's for.
Yes.
We're not directing the light at people. You know what I mean? Just like Matrix, you have to take the pill. We're not force feeding you. And you're gonna take the pill, and then you're gonna see what happens when you take the pill. Like, it's not, that's just what it is.
Islam.
So it's good to know. It's good to know that the work is never in vain.
Yes.
When we look back to Noble Drew Ali and the sacrifice that he made, doing what he was doing at the time that he was doing it in, we see the relevance of where we're at, in relation to his mission. There's you're there with a Moroccan flag right now, 2021.
Yes.
You know what I mean? All these people waving all these other things.
And you'd be surprised how difficult it was for me to get a hold of this.
For real. Wow.
Yeah. And and the guy that was selling flags for ages, I had asked him like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then one day I go by and I see one hanging. I say, oh my goodness, I ran over to him. He wasn't there, his daughter was there. But I said, wow, I'll be right back. He said, yeah, we've been had these when he came the next day. But I said, but I asked you about it. I asked you for it. What are you talking about? But it's amazing because, again, that's the idea of the timing and, the light that you just mentioned, that is for, things will come as they, ought to.
Yeah.
So I know, for instance, that I've been locked out of things or discouraged from things or walked through into the knowledge at the perfect timing for me. And the difficulties with the temple after a 6 month sitting and questions being pushed off and ignored and restrictions being placed upon me and things like that sent me out into the forum where I got a hold of all the other different forums that we had.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
you know, and it's all part of my journey in life anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Which
I
is,
mean,
which is what it's about.
yes,
I mean, every individual is walking their own path, and paths cross.
yes, Islam.
Paths are going to cross. It's unavoidable. Paths are going to cross. You know,
Yes,
and one of the things, again, going back to why it is we're doing this, because this is not something from this life. This is something from lives ago.
yes,
This is not something we're just finding out now, right now. We're being reacquainted
mm-hmm.
with certain things. You know, we are being reminded of certain things, being on this path of Moorish nationality and birthrights and Moorish science and astrology and all that. You know,
Yes.
right? Islam here.
Islam, yeah. Now I was going to camel back off the whole situation based upon like just the concept of university. Like we come into this not knowing that we know it already, but then it's more so of like getting these books and these other master teachers to unlock what we already are. Like it's stuff that we like forgot about. Then you start to open up like a floodgate of just mad stuff to start to synchronize. And
Yeah.
I start noticing that it's like levels of learning. Like it's like especially when you get to religions. Christianity is one part. It's the beginning, of course, but that's like one part of it. From Christianity, most go into Islam. Because when you go into Islam, it's certain stuff, you know, mixed with Christianity. There's going to be left in the ancient teachings of Gnosticism and like the esoteric knowledge from the Gnostics. It's all put together with that, but you need the teachings before it to get to it. And then, you know, from Islam, a lot of people are going to, well, we had that whole Kemet back to Africa phase. Which, you know, it's been there for the whole time. But I think the secret was for our generation, the people alive right now, to come into the fact of all of that comes from America. So the way I done looked at it is like America is a Christmas gift, and inside of this Christmas gift, you have every nation you ever heard of and every empire you ever heard of. No matter which one, Carthaginian Empire, Moorish Empire, Khmer Empire, Mordian Empire, Assyrian Empire, Babylonian. That's all ancient, prehistoric American knowledge. That, of course, they won't tell you that was all going on over here. They just point you another way.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to switch somebody up. Just a misdirection. It's like a no-look pass what they did with us. Now we know. So it's more so you see the goons, these little minions popping up to try to get us to suppress what we have already unleashed. Here come, you know, the JTs and the other people.
Yeah.
And I noticed something about this JT thing, and this should make all of you, like when y'all watch him, especially when he's on there with Artie, you should feel like it should be a feeling of like enraged that happens, that you of course suppress it, but why? Is because this man is supposedly quote unquote black, right? As he would describe himself. He would tell you that the reason he's here is because ancient Europeans from back in colonial times stole his ancestors and brought them over here. He put his bootstrapped on, pulled himself up, went to school, and got fraternitied up, and now he's smart and a businessman, right? Mm-hmm. The crazy part is that he's sitting right next to Artie, who's a Spaniard. You know, the Spaniards was the first ones to come over here. So in turn, this black is sitting with this Spaniard, agreeing that the Spaniard took control of his people and still have control of him now. Crazy part, when the subject of rights to travel comes up, the Spaniard and the black are not letting you know when was the first license. What was the point of it? What was the purpose? And it was the license that the damn slave master gave to his slave. So right now and today, you have the slave master doing all this law stuff, the slave telling you got to go get some instrument, and then a Moor sitting there with him telling you, yeah, yo, you know that's right, right? What did he say? Nationality is an illegal issue. Nationality is a social issue. Okay, so if I get human trafficked, that's socialism?
No, that's not socialism.
The hell that boy talking about?
Treason. He talking treason. He talking.
I tell you, you can't make this stuff up.
And this is Sharif. He took off Reggie head. But as I started to look back at that, I'm like, that ain't even no. You don't even get no kudos and points for that. Reggie was slow.
Reggie ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Reggie ain't nothing.
And the Taj already broke his neck. You up here beating up on like beat up slow Africans that Taj already destroyed. It ain't really it's no point.
Yeah.
I tell you though, you took on that Grand Sheik. You took on that great. I was watching and listening, and I'm saying, wow, you took on a difficult. What was it? A seven day thing?
7.
What was that?
The challenge?
77
Yeah,
days.
the challenge. I said, wow. I want to see you pull that off.
That's Sheldon. That's Sheldon's ritual.
Yeah, that's Sheldon's ritual.
Sheldon cooked that up.
Yeah, we're just jumping in. We're just jumping around Brother Sheldon's ritual.
It's better though, because Moorish made ritual. The more Moors do it, a prophet mess around and pop up at day 77.
Right.
I'm not playing with this. I'm not playing with this cosmos at all, bro. Like, she's letting us do whatever we want, and whatever we want to see manifested, she'll give it. Yeah. So why are we? Exactly what I did when Cujo sent me that video with JT and them. I'm like, okay, how do you stop these thoughts? Like, after you Shemitah them, how do you get them out of your mind for good? And it's like, you can't just Shemitah somebody. Oh yeah, he's playing with his knowledge. Look, y'all, he playing with the knowledge. No. You gotta show the people why he's playing.
Yeah.
And when they see why, it'll be like, look, Jacob Dorman, like I told him, like, bro, I understand that you got, you say that it ain't really about Masons. And yes, it is. Yes, it is, bro. If you don't know that, it's because you're, tenure or whatever. But I don't. No. What we're looking at is that anybody who's under an order, it gets funny when it comes to allegiance. I mean, upright standing Moors, and this is too prevalent now. So where you can see a whole panel of the Moors on the bottom of the page, you had DJ, we already know, and Sharif. But then I was like, well, who else do he bring up? Because I was waiting for it. I broke this joint down. I'm like, how come when they asked DJ, do you believe in the rights to travel? The question is weird. But DJ was like, oh, yeah, man, I got an international driver's license.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody like, whoa, how'd you do that? He's like, yeah, well, I got mine through AAA. Sharif like, well, how'd you get it through AAA? They're not a government. I'm like, do he know about the damn DMV not a government? What the hell? Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
He was... Yeah. He pulled some game out where he was like, oh, he's like, yo, you a dual citizen? He said, yeah. I said, oh, he lying. He said, see, the way I do my business, okay, so business-wise, you're doing it. Okay, I know exactly what you're doing. Offshore account stuff. But he said that he's a dual citizen. Based on his offshore account, he got the IDs to match the account, which is the Belize IDs with the damn international driver's license or driver's permit. So literally, you're just a citizen of Belize. The way it's going to look on paper. They didn't say anything to him. As a matter of fact, after that, they didn't want to talk to him no more. And I'm like, wait, if this is real, why don't you show that as a juxtaposition between how these other Moors is acting? Like, hey, Moors, look at what DJ doing. Why don't y'all do it something like that or hit him up if you want to do? Nope, not even that. Just, oh, thanks, DJ, for coming in. These crazy people. Sharif, you ready to go for some more? Hey, Artie, you ready to go for some more? I'm like, wait. If we're not going to have a consensus of actual law hitting the ground, then we're not going to be able to establish anything when it comes to the Supreme Court's opinion of traveling and automobiles. Thompson versus Shuttlesworth.
Yep.
But no,
Thompson
we can't
versus
deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like knowing how we got a situation on our hands because everybody's biting off our knowledge. Everybody's usurping Moorish wisdom and whatnot. They're going out into the public with it and getting their ass scimitar.
Mm-hmm.
It got crazy last night. If y'all watched the Aboriginal stuffs, it got crazy. But a bunch of subjugation again, bro. People taking our knowledge and like literally teaching the way we teach based on empires and how everything connects to every other nation based off of what we did as the Moors or whatever empire you want to name because it kind of all goes back to the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because if you want to talk about Prester John, that was really, really interesting. I found out the information with that, like the whole connection of the Olmecs, being the ancient Chinese, Moorish, Khans, see what I'm saying? And the connection of Buddhism, Judaism, Sabian, which is the connection of Judaism, Israel. You see what I'm saying? Then Islamic too, because we all were tribes of Moors. You see what I'm saying? And we had Islamic tribes, we had Judah tribe. You know what I'm saying? And got mixing and doing our thing. Set up the first silk trade right here in America. You know what I'm saying?
But something should happen. See, when you start doing that, if you stick to the way you was taught, and keep it in your mind, it's going to start tearing up, torment,
Right.
like the brain getting torn. But look, it's like they'll tell you, from Africa, the sub-Saharan slave trade, Atlantic slave trade, that's how you got Islam in America. So basically, it's across the Atlantic position, right? But then when you do the ancient Aceh Empire or the Sumatra Sultanate of over there in Southeast Asia, Malacca Straits, how the hell you get that way? Like, what did y'all cross? So instead, the story we learned of Islam coming from the Eastern Africa going towards the West of Africa, right? Like coming towards America way from the Saudi Arabian area.
Right.
That can't be right. Or it has
not,
to be an untold story where y'all went the other way. But how
it's
come
not,
they never talk about the other way?
It's not more because Asia is right here. Asia Major is right over here because that connection is with Russia. Okay. And hold up. It was Russia, here, America, Russia, and Tartary. Remember the Tartary Moors? That's Russia.
Yeah.
And then we had that's the empire there, right here. And it was another empire right here too. So everything was right over here. Just like they'll talk about Sparta and all the ancient history as far as Greek mythology and this, that, and the third. Moors created all that, right?
That's the thing though, right there. Russia's made up. Think about it. When they try to make that a republic, they the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, Russia, USSR. They got all this other. Why can't you just call it Crimean Tatar? They cannot even call it Russia, bro. There's no such thing. I'm gonna show you what Russia is. Put the P in front of Russia.
Yeah, it's Persia, and then you have
Prussia, like not Persia, but Prussia. That's like the ancient John. Then over, like when you look it over here, because they try to make Alaska Russian America, but ain't no such thing as Russian. You look up Laurasia or Larusia. When you put the ALU on the front of the word, ALU Russia, it's talking about America.
Right.
Before the damn Pangea.
Just like so-called
or like around that area.
Just like so-called Ethiopia is right over here too, which is Aksum, right? So it's Russia.
But see, every time when it gets to be this type of stuff, we have to have. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Kush, you know what I mean, and all that connection was right over here. So it's you know, this is Asia Major, like I said before. Anciently, the
When
old,
we see,
but we got receipts
when
though,
we say,
more. This coming
that's
off
what
the
I'm saying.
dome.
Like we gotta, even if it's off the thumb, we should, bro. We should know this shit by like common sense. Cause like when you look at the map and then think about it, it really makes. Wait. So who said that this was how it was? Who came up with all of this? The Euro guy? I thought he wasn't even accepted
From the
before
cave,
the
yeah.
right. So how does he know?
How does he know?
Islam, brother Kasir, I tell you, when you brought up the concept of the gift box, that was so pertinently germane to what we're talking here now. You know, the gift box with the different empires in it, and it took
Yeah.
the one out.
It's not.
Because what happens if you invite this guy to a Christmas party on the 25th, what a date, and he decides he want to take the Moroccan Empire and put it in another box without telling you. Then you pass on, give pass the box to your children, and you say, "Oh, listen, child, that box right there with the green wrapping and the red ribbon, that box. Just open that box when you get 25 years old, and everything you need to know is in there." And I pass, right? He crying, he got the box. When he get 25, his uncle lived with him though, by the way. His uncle always got this little slick stuff he telling him about that box. You ain't gonna like what you find in there. When you finally decide to open that box, it ain't gonna bring you nothing but confusion. You should have seen what that box did to your old man. You should have seen what that box did to the family. And you're just like, this nigga's so worried about that box. So when you open it, you count the damn nations up, the empires, and you're like, yo, wait, where the seventh one? My dad said that was the most important one to link all the other ones. Moor, what did he say it was called? I can't even remember the word. Your uncle, I think an empire is missing out of there. Uncle, like, what you talking about? You talking about the Moorish Empire? He like, oh shit, yeah, there it was. Wait, how you remember it? He told you about it? No, it wouldn't be like that. Just go to school. You find a black box in this dude's closet. When he, go out, you sneak into the box. He got the Moorish Empire in there labeled as Africa.
Yeah. So that's why that rocks cry out and other connections to no uncertain truth that can only be discovered with truth seekers search. It's so important. And the stage and the level where we are now, like Grand Sheik, when you had that brother on who said that brother was deep too. I mean, he really, he really brought together a lot of stuff about the peace and calm of the heart and the thought working together to just be you and apply yourself. The brother who mastered the tax per Q. I can't think of his name right off.
Brother Hassan.
Yeah.
Brother Hassan. Brother Hassan.
Yes. When he dropped that scripture, he used only one portion of it, and it was like I was led to it, and I took from the verse 20 to the end, which envelops what he had dropped. And when I looked at it, and I said, "Wow, we talking Jeremiah, 13, verse 20, starting from verse 20. Lift up your eyes and behold them that come from the north. Where is the flock that was given thee, thy beautiful flock? What wilt thou say when he shall punish thee? For thou hast taught them to be captains, and as chief over thee. Shall not sorrows take thee as a woman in travail? And if thou say in thine heart, wherefore come these things upon me? For the greatness of thine iniquity are thy skirts discovered and thy hills made bare. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? And this is a very important part right after that question. Then may ye also do good. So that's telling you something about your principles, the love that you are. Then may ye also do good, that are accustomed to do evil. That's telling you how you picked up all these foreign customs and practices that have nothing to do with you.
Right.
Therefore will I scatter them as the stubble that passeth away by the wind of the wilderness. This is thy lot, the portion of thy measures from me, saith the Lord, because thou hast forgotten me and trusted in falsehood. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. I have seen thine adulteries and thy names, the lewdness of thy whoredom, and thine abominations on the hills and the fields. Woe unto thee, O Jerusalem. See, that's the peace, right? Wilt thou not be made clean? And, that's a rhetorical question. When shall it once be? That's a reminder what the beginning was that shall be the end. So, that is like sitting in those same books that those so-called never seem to get to. And the New Testament church always tried to act like the Old Testament wasn't relevant because they couldn't understand none of that. It was waiting for those who had the power to deliver. And then, another connection came from the book of Isaiah 43 from 14 out. It says, thus saith the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. For your sake I have sent to Babylon and have brought down all their nobles and the Chaldeans, whose cry is in the ships. Get that? You think that's an accident, those words? Cries in the ships? Huh? I am the Lord, your Holy One, the Creator of Israel, your King. Thus saith the Lord, which maketh a way in the sea and a path in the mighty waters, which bringeth forth the chariot and horse, the army and the power. They shall lie down together, they shall not rise. They are extinct, they're quenched as tow. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. I mean, those are two important ties to what we have for this present day, for this revelation, for this continuation and completion of the prophet's work. But again, it's each one's journey. Not because I say so. It's just that those with ears will hear, those with eyes will see.
Exactly.
And it's just that the beauty of it to me is the confirmation to my heart of hearts that I get from it, that I see in it,
Right.
that inspires me to continue and go forth with the fullness of faith and confidence.
Islam.
I just give thanks. I do. And then, what I've done was I've read like I got copies of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, and I put a couple of months into just reading it every day. And I realized that, wow, divine, all right, Constitution and bylaws is like, that should speak for itself when we do the etymon and the defining of what these things mean. And it should take us to the awareness, which that same awareness was like a connection to a thought years ago after I read MacRitchie's Gypsies of Ireland, and I saw how the king and his court did not mess with those quote unquote gypsies, quote unquote Moors, quote unquote Tawnies. When it came to any type of judgment, they said we turn it over to him who leads over there. And I mean, again, the aspect which and the angle which we see these things is only according to our journey and what we're supposed to see. And it seemed like the importance of it, I couldn't seem to find any, takers. So not that I would give it up, because I walked alone for so long.
For so long, yeah. It's long.
But it's so beautiful. Islam, I rest.
Islam doesn't mean Islam family.
Was good, man.
Islam chilling, man.
Yeah,
working, trying to and studying, trying to get back how I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I see my brother still doing their thing, so I was just sitting back listening. Like, I miss this energy right here, man.
Yo, well, I was with Brother Jamal last night. And we were talking about how you didn't get the stuff until you got your bag.
Yeah, I was telling the Moors that, like, they gave me my mail, like they didn't give me my mail till like 3 days before I went home, so I couldn't write nobody back or nothing. I was like, y'all crazy, man. Yeah. The mail was written on the 24th, and it was I think it was received on the 24th or 26th, and they ain't give it to me till like the 6th or the 7th of November. I'm like, wow, like y'all held my mail for 3 weeks. Oh no, we don't hold mail. I'm like, yes, y'all did. I'm like, we in the same city. It don't take nothing but like a day or two for mail to be delivered. Yeah, they wild for that.
For real.
I got the like I was showing the Moors, I got the writs and everything, like to go to the Supreme Court or whatever and see what they gonna have to do, like the part they didn't show. But like I was telling people, I'm like, when you go to a venue or what they call courtroom, they have to record the session that's going on inside the courtroom. So whether they made my people leave or whatever, and they didn't get the part of them actually jumping on me, well, I didn't. The courtroom has cameras, so they gonna see on the camera of them jumping on me or whatever. And then, like I was saying too, when you're in the courtroom and you putting everything on the record, the prosecutor is supposed to record everything that is being said. So everything that I said is on the record. Is gonna prove that they had no jurisdiction and that they overstepped their boundaries and super exceeded jurisdiction. Like, I'm like, man, you administrator, you're not even the judge. Like, you are administrator. That's what got him mad. Like, he got mad when I called him an administrator instead of a judge. I'm like, you administrator, you're not the judge. Like, You're not an Article 3, Section 2 court. Like, this not even a court. This is a venue. Like, what are you doing? And then he kept trying to first he kept calling me the corporate entity. Then he tried to mix the corporate entity with Bay. And I'm like, hold on, man. I just kept objecting it. Like, what are you doing? Like, you keep trying to argue the subject matter, and the matter here right now is jurisdiction. Like, don't you know that the Basso versus the Utah Power Lighting Company, that once jurisdiction is challenged, it cannot be assumed, it must be proven. And it's like, don't y'all know that? Like, I don't understand why they be acting like they don't understand. But like I tell people all the time, them small municipal courts, they're gonna play those games of acting like they not acknowledging the fouling of your writs, or when you go to court or their venue, that when you had the copies with you or the writs that you know you filed, it should be on record. Like I tell people, I'm like, that's a federal charge, because if you went down there and you filed writs and you go to the venue and they don't acknowledge the writs or even pull them up, period, or have them on the record, then it's telling you on the paper, on the writ, that if this don't show up in the courtroom, then it was tampered with, which they tampered with a federal document. That's a whole nother charge right there. And that's why I kept telling people, I'm like, man, I got them over at least 20 charges already that I can really just go in on. Like, yeah, y'all are a violation of. And I'm like, man, they violated like their own constitution. They violated the corporate state constitution, which I mean by their own constitution. They violated the corporate state constitution. They violated the United States Republic Constitution. They violated the Moor Zodiac Constitution. They violated the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. They violated, what else? They violated the Declaration of Human Rights. They violated, and like I said, they violated so many like supreme laws. Like when you look up like the Supreme Court cases, how many laws that they done violated me on, denied me due process of law and everything. I'm like, I kept telling them, like, I'm a national. I'm not, as they seen on the camera. I'm telling them on the camera, which I got him on the camera cutting off his body camera. I'm like, you're cutting off your body camera, and you just said on camera that you don't recognize this and you don't recognize the Constitution. You took an oath to it. Like, what are you talking about? That's the only reason that you're in the position that you in. You took an oath to uphold my unalienable and inalienable rights. And I'm like, for you to sit here and say you don't recognize it just shows that y'all are criminal. Like,
right.
And I got you right here, right there. They were so mad when they found that. You see on the video how mad they got when they found out my cousin was recording. That even the lady said, "Oh, are you recording?" The from their side. I'm like, yeah, we recording. I'm like, we get that. Like, this is part of the Constitution. This is the first Bill of Rights. Like, that I have the right for a redress of grievance by use of the media. I'm like, which all municipal or supreme traffic, civil, criminal, whatever you want to call it, district venues, or what you would call courts, are open to the public. Y'all are supposed to let people record. Like, if you deny me that process, then you already in violation of due process of law. That's a violation right there. From you even getting that mad, irate about me recording. I'm like, yeah, we recorded. Like, what are you talking about? I got you on that right there. You're denying me due process of law, which according to the North Carolina state constitution, it says the same thing, that I have right to the media. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, y'all don't recognize that. Okay, well, maybe you will when these liens be put on you. Exactly what I kept telling them. You should have seen how they were shaking after they did what they did to me. They had me in the back because they kept coming back there because I kept screaming to the top of my lungs, free rise of the Moors, free rides of the Moors. So they kept coming back there to the holding cell, and they had gathered up all my paperwork. That I knew they was processing me then when they started pulling out the little bags that they put all your property and stuff, and I was like, they trying to hold me or whatever. And it's funny, like I tell people, the European highwayman jumped on me, and then after they jumped on me, they sent the Asiatic highwayman. They sent the guy highwayman, the Asiatic, to try to get the statement. I told them, I was like, only statement that you're gonna get from this point is the lanes that I put on y'all. Then they sent the woman. She trying to tell me to calm down. I was like, you want me to calm down? So if I smack you in your face right now and tell you to calm down, would you do it? She was like, oh, you coming at us and we ain't the one. Like, I'm more than this uniform. I said, so why am I still in these cuffs then in this holding cell, and why are y'all still processing me if you know I didn't do nothing wrong? Why haven't you pulled out those keys and uncuffed me then? She got quiet. I said, exactly, get the F out my face. And I was like, man, y'all are so done that it don't make no sense. I'm like, you think that y'all are getting away with what y'all are doing? I'm like, for one, my cousin recorded half of what y'all said on camera. Plus, these venues have cameras in the courtroom, so it don't matter if y'all cut up y'all body camera or not. Once I request from the Supreme Court or I'll pull that video, please, of me in there, and I can request a video of me filing my writs. The day that I filed my writs, which was I went to on the 11th, so they was filed on October 6th. I could tell them to pull the camera back from October 6th of me coming down there. I had the writs in my hand. And like as I'm walking through the courthouse, looking for the proper place to file them at, because you can file your writs either in the criminal section or you got to go upstairs. I believe it's the 8th floor, or it's the 8th floor or the 5th floor that you go file for civil. And that's I had went to the criminal, and he had sent me upstairs to the civil. I had my writs in my hand as I'm walking through the building the whole time. So I'm like, it's video of me walking in there with my writs. So if y'all denied my writs or tamper with them, you're denying me due process of law. That's a violation right there within itself. I'm like, I don't understand why y'all think that y'all can violate national law or violate supreme law of the land. And people always want to tell Moors, you ain't gonna win no case, you ain't gonna get nothing from that or whatever like that. I'm like, no, you might not as Negro, black, and colored, but as nationals, we have different rights that they are by. And I'm like, what y'all keep failing to realize, y'all think that we need permission from these people to stand on our rights, or that we gotta get them to recognize we recognize them. Don't y'all know these people are under our servitude? Look up your treaty of peace and friendship and look at that Constitution of the United States Republic, how it goes hand in hand. 1787, wasn't the treaty made in 1787? So when they're telling you in that Constitution that it was adopted, why was it adopted? Because they're under our servitude under that treaty of peace and friendship. That's what the prophet mean when he's saying enforce the constitutions and treaties. Article 6 telling you about that all constitutions and treaties made or to be made shall be previous to the adoption of the Constitution shall be supreme law of the land. They're talking about the treaty of peace and friendship. That is supreme law of the land. So, and it's telling you in the treaty, Article 6, that if a Moor takes a U.S. citizen to his majesty, and he's claiming, which means that once he starts proclaiming his Moorish nationality as a Moor, like, I'm not a U.S. citizen, I'm a Moorish American national. I've done proclaim my nationality and all this and that. You have no doubt of contradiction, and you have knowledge of it. There should be no argument. You shouldn't even be in their venue. Yeah. The jurisdiction shouldn't even be superseded. Once they see, oh, you a Moor, oh, you da 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 da. Okay, boom. you know what I'm saying, case dismissed, or we don't get the jurisdiction, we'll send this to the Supreme Court. Bow. That's the end of it
Pardon the
right there.
interjection, Malik. Pardon the interjections, because somebody in the chat asked about what's the alleged matter, and
Oh,
what you
they
just
tried to
said.
place
Hold
a
on.
child support
What you
case.
just
They tried to place a child support case upon me, and that, like I was telling them, that it's not a part of the Constitution. I'm like, this is not a constitutional matter which y'all have no jurisdiction over. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are y'all doing? That's why on the camera, when the lady from that department tried to ask me about the ex relation, I was telling her about like my free national name. I'm like, no, that's ex relation. Like I had information on that, and she was asking me, oh, who's represent you? I said nobody can represent me. I was like, I'm here at a special presentation at a threat, duress, and coercion to make sure nothing happened to my natural living, breathing flesh. And she got quiet. They couldn't say nothing, but she was the main one worried about me recording. She was like, "Oh, are you recording this?" I was like, "Yes, we're recording." I was like, "Yes, we are recording." I was like, "I have every right to." That's when the highwaymen come over there with they trying to, oh, nah, you can't record in here. You can't. I was like, man, I'm a Moorish American national. I have every right to record. And I told my cousin, I was like, if they touch you or touch any one of us, they'll be violating national law. That's what they was trying to get us to go outside. He talking about step up and come outside and talk to us. I'm like, I'm not moving nowhere. Because I already know what you're trying to do. Like you're gonna try to put your hands on me or whatever. That's why I'm like, if you do it, you gonna be in trouble. Period. They got that. That's when he cut his camera off, which I got him on camera doing that. Then he talking about he don't recognize this and recognize that on the camera. I'm like, bro, you took an oath. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, y'all are the funniest people ever. And it's like after they realized, after they did what they did, which it shouldn't even got to that point. It took for y'all to do that and then read my paperwork for y'all to realize that y'all messed up by messing with a national. I'm talking about they couldn't even hand me paperwork. Like he was shaking, like literally shaking. His hand was shaking so bad. I'm like, what are you shaking for? I'm like, I'm not gonna do nothing to you. I'm like, what are you shaking for? I'm like, y'all the ones who violated my rights. Like, and y'all scared of me. It took 5 of y'all to attack me from behind when I'm simply reading my writs that y'all denying, and y'all still scared. Like I'm in cuffs now in the side of holding cell, and you're shaking. Like, what are you scared of? I'm like, y'all that afraid? Like that, man, they are petrified of Moors, man. Like they are really petrified of us. Like, and it's like I was telling people the whole time, because I got the paper right here where when I tried to request going to the law library to get information on Moors, they sent the paper from the library telling you things that you can't get, that they won't allow you to get and stuff like that. And number 4 on there is about Moors. They won't give you no information on Moors. Everybody was tripping off of it. They was like, wow. They was like, they won't even let you know anything about Moors and none of that. Like, why you can't learn nothing about that? I like, because they don't want you to know who you are. I'm like, simple as that. They won't let you know who they're under this treaty with, because it's like I had requested my paperwork and they sent my paperwork to me of everything I had. I had the my writs. I had the Republic Constitution, the Zodiac Constitution. I had the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. What else? I had the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. I had I forgot what else I had. I think I had something about like voids and Supreme Court decisions and stuff. Yeah, because I left a lot of information inside with different people or whatever, man. Like that. It's like I truly know what it means when the prophet says that you'll win your state in a conflict that will not be able to be told in words. It's like you can't put in words the things that I experienced and seen. It's like as much as I'm trying to get it out, I can't say it exactly how it happened and how I seen it. It's like people would think you lying or think you trying to boost it up the way that it happened. I'm like, no, you can't make it up. That's why I was like, I'll request the video and show people in real time how I stood up for this nation and show how they violated and how scared they was when Malik Yusuf Bey put the fear of Allah and the fear of El Haj Sharif Abdul Ali in that venue. Like when I hit that table that last time when I was telling everybody that either two things is gonna happen. Either y'all are gonna dismiss this case, or number two, I need everybody in here to show me a nationality card right now, or I'm putting liens on everybody. Soon as I said that, I was attacked. Soon as I said those words, I was attacked from behind.
The word lien.
About putting a lien on everybody in the courtroom. They were so petrified, but what they messed up, they left how they usually clear the courtroom. They left some Negro, blacks, and colors in the courtroom, and I don't know. I didn't see if they was recording, but the lady, the Asiatic highwayman, she come telling me that, yeah, I think somebody was in there recording when they was doing that, and they was in there. I guess they was going off after what happened to me. People was in the courtroom like, y'all know that ain't right what y'all did to him and stuff like that. That's basically like what she was saying. Like it was people in the courtroom like standing up for me, like something ain't right about this. Like all he was doing was saying about jurisdiction and the laws and because they was looking like, damn, like he really know his stuff. Like we can't get him. Like no, every paper they had me signing, all rights reserved, UCC 1-308, UCC 1-103. That signed like that. Like I said, I was told them, yeah, I'm not here. Nobody can represent me or represent me. I'm here at a special guest appearance. I kept projecting the corporate entity. I'm like, no, I'm not a 14th Amendment citizen. I'm a Moorish American national, Malik Yusuf Bey, natural, living, breathing flesh, in full life. Like, man, y'all had no jurisdiction, and it's shown. Like, y'all got no jurisdiction. Then they kept bringing up the United States Corporation. I'm like, the corporation has been dissolved since May the 2nd, 2016. It's dissolved. Like, what do you keep talking about this United States Corporation for? It's dissolved. The geological landmass is America, which is 2 continents. The nation state that we're in, which is North America, is Morocco. So stop it, man. I'm like, y'all, and for y'all sitting here trying to play dumb, we're in 2021 and y'all still trying to play this dumb game. Like, we don't know that the positions that you hold, you had to know about this treaty and you had to uphold it, same as you have to uphold that constitution. Both the same, they go hand to hand. I'm like, for y'all to still try to play this game with us, when you see our feds is in turbans, you should already know. Like, I have a whole live shirt that if anybody see my Facebook page or my Instagram, you'll see the shirt that I'm talking about that has the Bay appellation on it. Got nothing but Moor stuff on it, whole Moor shirt. I'm like, so you already know that you're dealing with a Moor who's conscious of who he is, that he's not no sellout. But I get it when the prophet says they're testing every weak mind. So that was my test right there. And that's how I look at it. Like, when I was mad at first, like the first week, probably a little bit of the second week, but by the end of the second week, I came into realization that, okay, this Allah tested me, tested my heart, tested my strength, tested my faith. And I just increased it. Like the prophet said, I just increased it. And I got the teaching. And like I told Cujo, once I got my Al Quran, that was it. It's like everything else was just settled, man. And it was like I said, the signs that was shown and revealed to me the way that it was, the divinity that was shown to me, I truly understand why the prophet said this is the divine and national movement. Like, I had so many brothers, I'm talking about thugs now, the hardest of thugs, because they had me in the hardest of part. If you know about the corporate city of Charlotte, Mecklenburg, and you look up the Charlotte Mecklenburg County Jail, pod 1800 is the hardest pod. That's down in the basement. Like, that's the lowest level. That's where they put all the hardened criminals at. They had me up there in the hardest part, wet cells. You're not even in the dry cell. You in the wet cells. Cold as I don't know what, but I had love. Like I said, everywhere I went up in there, in the hole, when they had me in the hole sleeping on the rock for 2 days with no mat, for them to get me a mat, it's like I said, it's like a movie. It's like a movie. The only CO, Officer Mosley III, he get my props, man. That's one highwayman I respect, because he the only one that really looked into the facts of what I was saying about me being a national, because he thought it was a game until he went to look up the treaty and he went to look up the Sun-Dry Moors Act. He came back, I think it was the next day. He came that morning. I had a visit with my wife. So I had to visit with her, and the visits be like 10 minutes. And after I had the visit, he came back to my cell. He was like, pack your stuff up, man. He was like, I'm finna get you up out this hole. He's like, I don't care what they say. He like, I went and looked into what you were saying, and I see that you telling the truth. And I was like, thank you. He was like, no, thank you for telling the truth. He was like, cause I deal with criminals all day long that say they didn't do this, they didn't do that. He said some of them, they might be innocent, but he said you sit back and listening to them talk, they telling you that they done committed the crime and they don't realize it. Like, you will hear them sit back and they talking to their homeboys up in there talking. They sitting there telling the criminality of the things that they did. I'm like, boy, y'all crazy. But he went and fact checked the things that I was saying. He came back, like, his whole demeanor changed. Like, it was like a whole 360. I was like, good God, like, he was arguing again. I don't know if he got in trouble or what, but he was going against his co-workers, his different personnel. They was trying to keep me up in the hole because to my knowledge, they was trying to basically keep me away from the public. But my wife kept calling down to the jail because for 2 days, they didn't have me in the system. They just had me in the holding cell for 2 days in the hole without processing me. It took them like almost a whole week to process me. Then they had to process me 3 different times. And they had a block on my PIN number, so I couldn't call. I couldn't do nothing. Like, I couldn't order nothing or nothing. And everybody kept trying to figure out, like, why you got this block on your PIN number, or why are you even in the hole for a civil matter? They was like, for a civil matter, this is a non-arrestable offense. And I'm like, I keep telling y'all what it's about, that I'm a Moorish American national. That's why I'm in here. So when, like I said, I guess it took for him, when he went to go fact check, start arguing with them and letting them know, like, no, I'm not keeping this man in the hole and he haven't done nothing. And yeah, he got me out the hole and got they unblocked my for after another week. They unblocked my PIN number. Like, they had been unlocked it, but I still couldn't use it. They still had a hold on it. Then they finally took it off or whatever, to where I can order my hygienes and canteen and stuff like that. But I had like people, every pod that they sent me in, I had people like looking out for me, because it's like, oh, you a Moor? I get, because they had dealt with Moors before. Like, certain people in certain pods, they like, we know about Moors. Even certain CEOs, like the other CEO, Officer Sanders, she another one that gets my respect. She was like, I know all about Moors. She was like, I study all that type of stuff. She was like, I know it's about Moors, and I was showing them my paperwork. She was like, that's messed up. She because nobody would look up and tell me like how many days I had, none of that. She the only one that looked up and was telling me like, oh, this is what they got you in the system, and they saying that this and this and this and this and that. And I was like, that's how I found out like how long they was trying to hold me and everything. I was like 30 days, like it wasn't even a decision rendered inside the courtroom. Like it wasn't no decision made, like dismissal or nothing, because in the middle of me arguing, or really I basically proved that they lacked the jurisdiction and the only thing they could do was dismiss it. They attacked me and it wasn't no decision made. And that's why I kept telling everybody, I'm like, why, if they rendered a decision, it wouldn't have took them 2 days to put me into the system. Right. And they wouldn't have had me in the hole for a civil matter. Like, as everybody kept saying, they was like, a civil matter, that you're not supposed to be in the hole for that. And then at first they was trying to put other charges on me, like assault on the government officials and things of that nature. But they originally took it out the system. And she told me that. She was like, yeah, they dismissed all these other charges that they had. I was like, other charges? She was like, yeah, assault on the government official, resisting arrest, all this type of stuff. I'm like, what? And she like, yeah, they dismissed it. I'm like, why you think they dismissed it? Because I'm a Moorish American national. They know that I didn't do nothing wrong. And it's only to when they start reading my paperwork, they like, oh, this for real. Like, we done messed with a for real Moorish American national. Like, he's not one of these people that's like slow or one of these people that's fiat chasing or nothing like that. And plus they like I said, all them pods everywhere you go up in the hell house has cameras. So I know they see me up in here with all my paperwork teaching all these different people. They like, man, we got to get him out of here. That's why they eventually took me out of the classification pod and put me in 1800 with all the hardened criminals. But most of them, a good percentage of them, I know, like from the streets, like, and from the city, growing up with and knowing they, oh, what's up, bro? Like, they kept calling me the corporate name, of course, but they was like, yeah, bro, like, that's da 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 da. So as I'm telling them what I'm in there for and all this and that, they was telling me that right before they put me in there, like I'm talking about seconds before they put me in there, they took another Moor out of there. They had just took another Moor out of there. They was like, another Moor just left too. And they forget his first name, but they like, he was an L. And he was like, are you a Bay or an L? I was like, I'm a Bay. And I was showing them my paperwork and stuff. They were like, wow, they were like, that stuff for real, because he was telling them the same thing. Like, he in there on frame up charges, and I guess was telling them about, like, showing them different paperwork and teaching them and stuff. So I came in there as usual, teaching the brothers, like, and it shocked me, brothers who you wouldn't even think they from the streets wouldn't even acquire it. They acquiring the information. Let me see that Zodiac Constitution. Like, they sitting down, getting the information. I even had Europeans getting information from me and thanking me, like, because they didn't even know about, he didn't even know he's a European, and he didn't even know about his national origin, period. He just thought he was a U.S. citizen. He thought United States is what it is. I'm like, no. I was like, you got a national origin like Scottish, Russian, German, or something like that. I was like, you find out your national origin, and that's the rights that you stand on, because his civil rights or civil liberties was being violated too. And I was like, yeah, even though you European, you still got liberties and rights, as it states in the Constitution and the treaty, that you're entitled to certain rights and privileges too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to stand on them and stand up to these people. And that's what it's all about. The problem that I see with people, they too coward to stand up to this fraudulent system. And it's like, once you realize, this how you know they don't study hard enough. Once you realize who you are and who they are, it shouldn't be no fear. It shouldn't be no fear, because you know, like, but I guess in their mind, they take it as had was in the beginning. When they came up under our servitude, probably our ancestors were still mean to them, slapping them around, doing all types of stuff. They looking at us now as the Moors of 7-Eleven. Like we on some crusade taking over their lands and stuff. I'm like, bro, we know where the lands is. We know who runs these lands. Like we too at this point, we too tired to be fighting right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we trying to chill in peace. And like I don't get why y'all don't understand that. Like if we really was that upset, we wouldn't be talking to y'all or having conversation. We'll be lining them up. You will see us marching and protesting, but not just marching. Like we really should be scimitars people out here. Like they don't understand that we'll be on some real blood-witting stuff, but we trying to avoid that, and y'all keep trying to apply that pressure to make us do that. Then want to call us the radicals or make us look crazy for defending ourselves against tyranny. And it's like, what else are we supposed to do for the disrespect of our nation and the disrespect of our natural living, breathing flesh? Because like I tell people, you might not like our nationality, which you have every right to do, but to put your hands on me or to try to take away my life that belongs to me, which I have through divine and the supreme law of the land, I have every right to be here. Just like you got every right to be here. This is why the prophet is telling us through the literature. We learned our lessons like through slavery and all that. That's how the nation failed. So we not trying to enslave y'all. We trying to let y'all be. But if you think that we're going to sit back and then let you enslave us or infringe upon our rights that we know we have, not just looking it up or believe, because everybody always want to associate what we do or what we know with beliefs as if these are not facts or we not actually going through this. Like, do you believe that I actually was arrested? Do you believe that, or do you know that? And it's like that is that simple. I'm like, man, they don't take no rocket scientists. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like they really fear us, man. And I was just like laughing once I came to grips with everything. Like, yeah, man, they really know who Moors are. Like they don't want us claiming our heritage. And thanks to these dirty Moors, if y'all listening, is why most of them don't respect the writs and the treaties no more, because it's so many dirty ones that they are dealing with. Like I'm hearing them talk about Moors in there coming in there on dope cases and crack cocaine cases, and now you want to use your Moorish nationality to get out of trouble. And see, Malik Bey don't lie. I tell people the truth. I'm like, look, man, that's not what this is about. Like, you don't proclaim your nationality just to get out of trouble or taxes or some type of stuff like that. You claim your nationality because that's who you are. Mm-hmm. You think Mexicans and all that contradict or doubt that their nationality when it comes time to stand on their national rights as a national? I'm like that. Like, y'all, it's funny that y'all are talking about Moors in the third person as if you're not a Moor too. And I constantly got to get people to understand that. They be like, yeah, Moors, I done heard of Moor. I'm like, you know you a Moor too, right? Like, you got melanin in your body, you a Moor. I don't understand how is it so hard for y'all to understand these concepts when we done broke these things down thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And I'm like, it takes people to get beat upside the head, literally, for them to see that this is not no game. Like, this is what it is, man. Like, some people just not ready for it, man. Like, as the Quran say, like, they'll say, oh yeah, when they ask, do you believe? Yeah, we're believers. But then as soon as the test come, yeah, we gonna watch y'all put in the work, and we just gonna sit back, and then when y'all win, then we'll come be a part of it. No, Allah gonna punish y'all, like, because y'all was given the task to do something. Y'all was given the task to bring about this nation, and when you was given the chance, you step back when you know that this is what it is. So it's one thing for Negro, blacks, and colors not to know this or to refute this. They gonna have their punishment too, but it's another thing for you to know this information and keep refuting it, or to do some dirty stuff and steer people away from this. Like like I tell people all the time, you should be running. You should be running trying to get this information out to people. As bad as this nation has gotten, you should be running and willing without one red cents brought up, giving this information out to people. Like, I don't understand that, man. Here we are. I've been gone over 30 something days. I come back, still my same brothers on the panel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see one other more I never seen up here, but my same brother's still here. And I knew that. I'm like, man, it's only a few of us that's really standing up for this nation, man. Like they know who we are. That's why they testing a lot of us. Like, I don't know, man. It's like they gotta test like what happened with Jamal now, what happened with Ayanga, what happened with me and other Moors that it might happen to down the line. Yeah, they testing us. They want to see because they hear what we're saying. Like I keep telling people all the time, when we're doing this or when I'm doing my broadcast, it ain't just Moors watching or people who don't know their nationality watching. Those are federal agents watching these channels, so they know who we are. They know who we are. They just want to test you, or they want to see if they can scare you out of standing on this. And I'm like, no, you ain't gonna do nothing but make me go even harder, because now from your reaction, I know it's for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't that serious, you wouldn't be going that hard about me claiming it.
Yeah.
And I yield the floor on that, man. Like, yeah, I'm just glad to be back with my brothers. And the whole time I kept telling everybody about this panel, about all y'all, everybody in there know my brother's names and the sister, and everybody know RV Bay Publications. Like, it's hundreds of people who know. So if RV started, who is all these people? Malik Bay is the culprit, like, to some of them. I've been flooding people with RV Bay. Telling you, like, they know about RV Bay. They like, what's that, RV Bay? Like, I had so many young people, young brothers. Like, that's the part that made me tell, when the young brother, like, every day he would come to me and want me to teach him more and more and more and more. I had a little list. It's almost like a grocery list of things for him to look up and to go on when he get out. And I could tell out of all the young ones that was like listening and stuff, he was one that's gonna really go study when he get released or whatever. He really gonna be in tune with it or whatever, because he was like, yeah, my dad is somewhat like on some Muslim type stuff, and he was telling me something about Moors, but he didn't go into depths. So as he hearing me teaching, like I said, people know when you know what you're talking about. They know when you know the information for real, the way you displaying it, the way you going over it, when you reading it and you displaying it and you breaking it, they like, wow, like, this dude really, I guess they be amazed on how young we are and able to analyze and speak on the things that we speaking on. They looking for the teacher to be some old gray hair with glasses, encyclopedias having all the time. I'm like, yeah, we got that. You know what I'm saying, with Taj, but he ain't got gray hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we got master teachers or whatever, but it's all about your will. I'm like, y'all can have this same knowledge too. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, y'all looking at, like, when we get up here and doing what we doing, as we possess something that you can't. It's all about your will. Like, do you have the will to really go sit down and study these things? And even if you don't, quote unquote, believe them, you still go fact check them and be like, let me read this and see and have information on it. So when somebody asks you a question, you like, yeah, I read that, and you can either say, well, I don't fully believe in that, or I don't truly go by that, but I have information on it. That's just like us with our corporate entities. Oh yeah, that's X relation. We have information on that, but we don't go by that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. You got to have information on everything, or you gonna lack. You gonna be possibly killed, or you gonna die. Like Yahshua said, you gonna die for the lack of knowledge. Like, you gotta obtain knowledge. And the funny thing I tell people all the time is, I constantly say this, when one of us is studying and we start teaching, they automatically want to associate that, oh, you think you know it all, or you think you know everything. And I always stop them with the fact of, if I knew everything, why would I be studying? Why would I have to go search and research things and be looking things up? If I knew everything, that should tell you that I don't know everything if I'm studying. And I'm advising others to study certain things and to check these sources out or whatever. That should let you know that we don't know everything. You just use that as a defense mechanism to say that you don't study or had a will to study or look up anything. And it's like that. It's just simple. Like, I don't even argue with people no more. I just laugh and write them off. Like, okay, man. I've been using my brother Kashir. Was it like, I swear, those kept ringing in my head. That broadcast where you was telling me, you like, just chill and let people play the fool. And the Quran tell you that too. Like, don't show weakness by getting angry. Like, you can get disappointed at somebody, like total disrespect. You can stop that, but just arguing back and forth with these illiterate people or people that you know as agents, ain't no need. That's a waste of energy and stuff. To always get mad and argue. They're gonna prove themselves to be dumbasses or illiterate beings just by sitting there asking them questions, or they coming up here trying to challenge you. It's gonna be shown one way or the other that they don't know what they're talking about, or they are only here to cause confusion and that they agents. So it's like, I done been using Kashir information, like, and it's like, like I said, I know everything is divine that I'm doing. I kept telling people that and telling myself that, like, yeah, everything I do is divine. Y'all can't see it the way I can, but I'm pretty sure my other Moors, they can't see what I'm seeing is divine, but through their own eyes, through their vision, what's being shown to them, they can see that everything that they're doing is divine. You like, man, this is divine and national. Now I know why the prophets say this divine and national. Yeah, this is God given. And it's like, it's no other way to put it. And it's just, the key is, like we're doing now, is to keep standing on it. Like, at the end of the day, as the Quran say and other holy books and everything else, it's only a few that's gonna get the truth, and it's only a few that's gonna stand on the truth. And it's telling you these epic stories in the Al Quran, whether they true or not. The metaphysical of it is that Allah always make a few go against many, and he showed them few conquering the many. And it's like reading these stories in the Al Quran, the Battle of Badr, the Battle of Yahud, and all that. You see where they got movies like the movie 300 from Prophet Muhammad and all this and that. I'm like, bro, y'all know that y'all stole that from us. Know that y'all stole that from us. And they telling you in the book that the Israelites, these false Jews, these Christians and all that, y'all are the false people. It's all about the Sabbath. The Moors, if you're not a Moor, they telling you that you're false with it. You know what I'm saying? They telling you that if you don't honor us as the true beings, then you're fraudulent with us. But that's when it comes to us standing on and being who we are supposed to be too as beings. We can't be fraudulent or be doing dirty stuff and expect to get respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to live the life accordingly. And that's what I was telling people up in there when they were saying, like, oh, I know Moors and I know this, I know that. I'm like, yeah, as they kept saying about temple this and temple that. And like I was telling them, I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing because I'm a Moor. I'm like, man, a lot of these people are dirty right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not seeing Moors by the boat or go as hard as I'm going with it, because a lot of people have taken that rotten fruit of selling out. You know what I'm saying? It's too easy for them to sell out. So that's what they run with. It's hard to really stand on this. Like, it comes with a lot of bumps and bruises. You might even have to do hell time behind it or whatever. But at the end of the day, the fight is rewarding. You know what I'm saying? Because Malik Bey is gonna get rewarded from these people violating my national rights, and most of what I'm gonna get is gonna go back into the nation. I'm like, and once you see these concepts of how you're supposed to do this and live, it's simple. It's really not hard. It's simple. They try to make it hard because too many people cowered out. When the fight comes, they turn back on their heels so quick that it's amazing to see one who really goes through the test or goes through the fight for real, taking every blow and everything and still standing there. They like, wow, like he really won't give up. Like he's really standing on this for real. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's only a few of us that are doing it. It's only a few of us that's gonna forever stand on that. And I yield the floor on that, brothers.
Peace and love, more. You know, we're riding up on 220 right now. I don't have any more. Has any more interjections before we get out of here? Love here.
I wanted to add the lawful definition of instrument, because I was looking through this and it made me think, like, damn, that's what people getting caught up on. And when Brother Malik challenged the fact that they wasn't recording nothing, that's what did it. That rendered the whole. That's when he starts shaking. Matter of fact, brother, when you challenged them recording it, is that when they start shaking? Islam Malik.
I don't know if he's hearing you. Hey Malik, put on your mic. I don't think he's hearing you.
Oh yeah,
but there's a delay on his thing or something.
When you go back to the story that when he was telling it, he was talking about how he asked if it was a recording going on in there, and they weren't recording it. The whole thing was an act. It was a whole play, and all them brothers that was in the Dismal Crips, they had fell for the play, and Malik was just like, no, like y'all not recording nothing. I'm recording, and then objected every time they tried to refer to him as a straw. I'm just here because that's the subject that matter. I have all the evidence and information about that subject or that entity, but I am not that entity. So, it brought me the instrument, right? And when you get to the second part of the meaning, it says, in the law of evidence, anything which may be presented as evidence to the sense of the adjudicating tribunal. So the people trying to, take you away, remove the body, right? The term instruments of evidence includes not merely documents, but witnesses and living things which may be presented for inspection. So your words are living. So, and if you transfer your words to a document in the sense of an affidavit or a writ, right? That's a living document. You can bring witnesses to your case. Witnesses are always the best thing to have. Like, that's really the basis of a notary. Like when a lot of these Moors talk about notaries, right? But they don't ever tell you what's the end all about a notary. A notary is going to be your official witness in a case, right? So that notary should be aware that you're dealing with a corporation in the regard that you're dealing in, because not all notaries are comfortable with the war. So, these are things that we should take into consideration. I like to have, like how we file stuff on the county and all that. I like to have records filed beforehand. So when you go into this tribunal, you can pull records from the actual courts, and full faith and credit. Don't matter if you do it in one court or one state, full faith and credit. So you can use it in another state for whatever you're dealing with in your state. As far as filing things on a record, like we got these name corrections, we got these judicial proclamations. for the record. So you can pull it, and then everything from there, it shouldn't be like you're reading a book. It should be like you're freestyling, and then you gave them proper notice beforehand of what you're, of how this is going to be taking place. This is how you formulate the contract.
Yep.
As long,
look into
and that's basically what I was saying when I was saying I had the venue on October 11th. I found the Ritz on the 6th of October. Like, that's why I was telling them, I'm like, my writs have already been filed, so me discussing this shouldn't even be you're going into a subject matter. The jurisdiction should already be proven from my writs right then and there, like they're on file. And I'm like, that don't y'all know that y'all are violating federal law? Y'all reading the documents, and it's telling you that if they're tampered with, that it's a federal crime. Like, and they be just thinking like, oh, they don't know what they talking about, or they're, as they call it, they're just paper terrorists or whatever. No, we're no type of terrorists. We're nationals, and we know who we are. We know what our rights are. Y'all are just mad because y'all wear that badge that we're not intimidated. As I keep telling them, that badge is a toy. We're the real law.
Yeah.
You see this title on my shirt, Bay? I'm the law. Obey my law. You're under my servitude, but I'm not treating you as a servant. I'm not treating you as how you would beat a slave with a whip and do what I say. No, I'm not treating you like, I'm treating you like a human being, but you're not gonna treat me, unhuman being, as like an animal and think I'm not gonna put on display of who I am and who you are. Now I'm gonna talk to you as if you are my slave and you're under my servitude. Now I'm going to talk to you like a classic Moor.
See, and Moor, that's the reason why, like, so how you did it, that was perfect, right? Got out of there unscathed and all that. That's exactly how the Olorio Moors stand. The problem where we met, what's the frustration with us Moors that go through this stuff is that since the temples aren't in the place that they supposed to be, there's no way to hold that court or those judges accountable the way we want to. I mean, of course, we already know there's the private world. That world is like the world of genies. Please, study that private side, because there's all types of shit you can do. But as far as what we talking about, that public display of getting somebody hemmed up and whatnot, that's because like we would literally need to be together in the temples how it was before. That way you could put the proper lien on somebody. The lien wouldn't just be your lien against it'll be the whole nation's liens against this entity. So that goes for the damn arresting officer, that goes for his partner. RICO law on these people, but in a more sense based off of how we put forth everything. It's not just the RICO law. You violated a whole nation's nationality, not just Malik's. The whole nation's got violated. So we should have these things should be already in order. Like Malik, you shouldn't even have to go. It should be agents from the damn temple to go for you. Mm-hmm. And this is that's another form of like special appearance where you don't even show up. You have an authorized representative in the form of a private attorney that goes for you, and it's not even your body at all. So ain't all that confusion about you the straw. No. I got a whole noble in there for me working my stuff out. And of course, you put together.
Supposed to be the Mufti.
Yeah.
That's why I told him when I told him that when I said that you're not an Article 3, Section 2 judge, that you're administrator. I'm the judge. I'm the visor. I'm the Mufti. Exactly. I'm the Grand Sheik. Because I'm the author. At this point, I'm the only authorized representative to speak on my appellation. None of y'all can speak on that. I'm the authorized representative. Nobody can represent me. I'm here at a special guest appearance at a threat, direction, coercion to make sure nothing happen to my living, natural, breathing flesh in for life. I'm like, nobody can speak for me at this point. I'm the authorized representative. I'm the Mufti. I'm the Grand Sheik. I'm the visor. I'm like, none of y'all are judges. None of y'all have the authorization. The authorization to speak on my appellation. Like,
Yep.
y'all can argue about this corporate entity, but that's why y'all kept trying to call me that and hoping that I attest to being that. But I'm like, bro, no matter how mad I was getting, I would not attest to being that corporate entity. I kept I'm like,
Yeah.
no, in
Don't
propria
even
persona,
understand.
I am Malik Yusuf Bey. And I'm like, you're not going to keep disrespecting me, calling me out of my name. And that's why I was telling these hybrids, I'm like, okay, if you're not going to respect me for as who I am as a human being or as a national, what make you think I'm going to respect you? Like, I'm going to keep calling you a hybrid. I'm not going to acknowledge you even as a European. I'm going to call you a hybrid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you basically calling me an animal. So I'm calling you an animal. You're a hybrid. You're a slithery, slimy hybrid.
Yep. See, that's sovereignty. Like this is the expressions of sovereignty. The way all these people talk sovereign citizens. A sovereign is the one that's going to make sure his retinue is the court and adjudicate as he sees fit. That's what you was doing. You was adjudicating the case. You was administrating the estate, and you was being a trustee of the trust. You took the damn position from them just in your words. So this is what we be saying with these Moors, like understanding that a lot of this stuff is paperwork, yeah. But if you understand the language, you can do it the same exact way with just the language you're speaking.
Exactly. We done told them, tell them, Kashir, ain't that what jurisdiction mean? Law, language. So it's the way that you speak the language.
It's the way you speaking it. These is the spells we be telling y'all about. You putting spells on yourself, and then you in the middle of their damn venue.
Yep.
You know that's going to be the blowback of a lifetime. And you just put your signature. You sign your nature over to them. Moors don't have signatures. We have autographs. Like literally a picture of the like a carbon copy of the real being's spirit on paper. But that whole sign of your nature, that's when they're trying to steal stuff from you. We don't sign natures. We have loyal titles and we autograph them based upon reserving our rights. So and did they try to take your fingerprints?
Yeah, they did all of that. But see, the first day that they did everything and they put me like in the holding cell and they put me in the hole, it took them like 3 to 4 days to even do the whole process. Because they was trying to deny me process because I guess they was trying to keep me from the public, so they wouldn't even process me.
Exactly.
Yeah, they wouldn't put me in the like place where I could make a phone call or none of that. It's only because my wife kept calling down there is what made them like, oh snap, like we done messed up. Like, yeah, I kept telling them, you do know I have people on the outside, right? Like, I'm not just one of these homeless people or somebody living underground or something like that. I'm like, I have a following out there. I'm like, I actually teach. So I have a following. Like, and I'm like, I was just on live. So everything that y'all did is already displayed. Like, they're gonna know that something is up. Like, I'm like, it's just funny to actually go through it. It's not funny, but it's funny when you think about it because it's like that's divine right there, and you see that's Allah. Automatically, you like, okay, this Allah. He's showing me in real time, like I'm gonna make you go through this, and I'm gonna see how you come out of this. I'm gonna see if you gonna curse me, if you gonna curse your prophet, if you gonna turn back on your heels, or is you gonna increase your faithfulness. And I'm gonna not only double down on the reward at the end of it, I'm gonna raise your ranking. You know what I'm saying? Because now people are really gonna know that, yeah, he not playing with this. And that's how I was looking at it. I was like, they gonna know, like, Malik Bay is a real soldier, and that's what I left that whole county, Mecklenburg County hell house with. They got that whole impression like that's a real soldier right there. Like I'm talking about real live Crips and Bloods, people locked up for murders. They all telling me like that's the realest thing that you could do is battling oppression. They like he's battling the oppressing system by itself because they looking at like where's the council of Moors with me, and I'm like, nah, I'm the only one standing up representing in this land. That's why I was like, yeah, I'm the mufti of this land because nobody out here is putting it down in this land like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like in this corporate territory, the part that I'm in, yeah, I'm the one standing up for this. I was like, yeah, I'm telling them about this channel, Canaanland Moors. I'm like, yeah, I got brothers, but we spread out. We in different territories, but we all, you know what I'm saying, part of the same nation. We all fighting the same fights. And I was telling, I like, y'all seen the rise of the Moors thing, like about the Moors on the highway. Some people seen it that was free. They was like, yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah, those are my brothers too. We all fighting the same fight. We just in different territories. I like that's why y'all think that Moors is some religious club because the Moors who y'all keep speaking of, y'all speaking of in these quiet little temples, but you don't see them out and about with fezes and all that on like how you would see mines is displayed. I like, yeah, I'm the only one putting it down in the territory. And it's like they couldn't wait to attack my fez. Like my green fez, they tore the tassel off of it. That was the main thing they did to my fez. They tore it. They made sure they tore the tassel off. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah, like
separated from the mother.
Yep. Everything's ritualistic.
Put it right back to the patriarch. But it
yeah,
ain't
you could tell they
you can't
pulled it
take it
off.
out their mind.
You could tell they pulled it off. It did it because the way that it's destroyed, that none of the screens on the tassel is pulled off. It's like the whole part which holds the tassel to the fez is what they pulled off. They pulled that whole little part off. They didn't just like cut the strings or nothing like that. They pulled it straight out like, oh, you tried to unearth me or something like that. Something like it's like some type of way like, oh, did you try to that's your way of denationalizing me or something? Like it's just
Mother is
funny.
tied to the land. It's like the way to take you out the land, but you still tied to the land, so your rituals don't even work. These people are the corniest when you think about it, bro.
Yeah.
Like Law and Hardy as like type people. These Masons is all the symbols and everybody worry about.
Bro,
Man,
I'm
it's
telling you, and
literally like
that's what I
hocus
told
pocus.
them. That's what I told them. I'm in the holding cell. You know how they hold their little hands, making little pyramids and things of that. I'm like, don't you know that is our science that you're doing? I'm like, y'all are Freemasons. We are Masons, which means that we are mother sons. We really come from mother. Y'all are hybrids. That's why y'all call yourself Freemasons, because y'all don't come from a mother. Y'all are hybrid made. Y'all are created by that's why even when you listen to the master teacher Taj, when he's talking about how the government was set up by 35 Muslims and 20 Muslim sons, those Muslim sons are the Freemasons. Y'all are the Muslim sons. Like y'all are the Muslim sons because the Muslim sons made y'all. Y'all don't come from a mother. That's why y'all are free Masons. Y'all are free sons of a mother. Y'all not born of a mother. We're the Masons by birth. We just don't go to these lodges.
It said 20 Africans was taken into slavery in Virginia in 1619. But the same, when you look at the same history of the Europeans brought to America in 1619, it's going to blow your mind, because they were being trafficked before there was even any documentation of Africa. Remember, they didn't know about Africa until the late 1800s. When our grandparents happened to lose all the land claim. That's when they started to do the scramble for Africa. So that nips the whole slavery story in the bud and all that. So everything that we're looking at is the circus, like in front of us. Like they're playing an act, and you just like basically the act is going on, so it don't work on you. But everybody else up in
Exactly.
there,
Yeah.
they like, oh
Exactly.
shit,
And like I'm
how?
telling people, it is not a coincidence. I had to go to court on Indigenous People Day. They sent me to the venue on Indigenous people. That's the main point that I keep getting people to look at. I'm Aboriginal and Indigenous, right? They got me going to court on Indigenous People Day. And the number that I always see that I look up and it pops up every day is 111. If you add them numbers up, that's 1011. Zero is nothing. That's 111. I went to court on 111. I'm like, it's no coincidence. Everything is reasoning. That's how I know, like, this is divine right here. Like, this is my fight. This is my part of the fight to show the nation and everybody else, like, okay, he is really a part of this nation for real. He really standing up for what this nation is supposed to do. I'm like, yeah, it's only a few of us that are going to display that, but it's going to be so rewarding in the end. Like, we're going to be those people that when the power is turned over, they're going to be like, that's them. Yeah, that's the ones who taught everybody. That's even with all these dirty Moors out here. Like, what's his name? Autumn Bay and all of them and all of those guys with their channels. That's why I was explaining to people when I was like, those guys that you see, they'll have Moorish titles, but they won't even be claiming they Moorish here. They'll try to deny Moors, but have our titles or be using our science, using Moorish science, but calling it something else. And I'm like, I'm showing them in this book that they got in jail that they let everybody read. That's the closest thing to knowledge that they get them. This book called Knowledge Itself. It's written by the brother Lord Jamar of Nations of Gods and Earth and all that. I'm like, if I'm showing them in the book, this is more science. I'm showing them through my documents and through the book. Like, see how this is matching this, and they just referring to this, but they won't fully give you the name or fully give you that. And they was like, wow, you see how they keep calling us black gods, but they's dropping this science right here. And they won't tell you the truth. But then it's a chapter in the book where one of the people, I forget who it is, he's from Seattle, Washington, and they got it. The real titles of what they call those lands, they call Seattle, Washington. That's the only place that they was referring to as Morocco. I'm like, look at this part in the book. They're referring to, if they're referring to Seattle, Washington as Morocco, won't that tell you that if I'm telling you that we're in Morocco, that all of America is Morocco, this North America nation state, we're in Morocco? And they scratching their head. They like, yeah, that do make sense. I'm like, bro, you got to listen to this, to the knowledge. Like, somebody's trying to get you to open your eyes, but only a few of them got it. It was just some of them, they were just reading it and they was like, yeah, I hear you. But most of them, and these are the hardest people running the pod, or people making people listening to them, like the brother Jules. He called himself Jules. He a blood. He got a lot of influence up in there. Like, he was one of the ones acquiring information for real, because he was like, I heard it like Moors and stuff before, and I was telling her, I was like, when you get a chance, look up, because he know about like the Nation of Islam and all that. I was like, look up Farrakhan honors Prophet Noble Drew Ali as the first one to bring the Muslim religion to this side of the hemisphere. You know what I'm saying? And like I was telling people, like, he's not the first Muslim over here, because we always been here. And it's like, if you start looking at the information, you'll see that this is the first side of the world. This is the ancient side. Even like with the map, they flipped it upside down. Like, they what they call the east is really the west, and what they call the west is really the east. Like, we're really that most ancient side. Like, this is the side, like, they came from over here and went over there. Even that, if you look at the information, like, even about the Moors in Spain, even about like in the treaty, it's telling you that what's going on over here should be on the same footing as what's going on in Spain. They're telling you that, okay, if they travel from the plains of Morocco, House Joint Resolution 75, they traveling from the plains of Morocco. Everybody came from here because this is the nation state. This is the empire right here. This is the headquarters. So everybody came from this point and spread out to other places. That's when we was going conquering over them other land, because it's like, okay, we restore order in all these places, came back home, we start seeing they start getting weak. Now we got to pack up and travel all around the world again and clean this thing up again. But it was just different in this time because now they created these albions or these hybrids or what you would call it. That's what made the fight even more, because at first it was just us fighting us. So it was easy for us to just go to somebody who looked like a bruh, stop that shit. You know you doing wrong, cut it out. But now that they created these uncontrollable, unreasonable type of beings to be placed here that cause this confusion and corruption, now the fight is even harder now. But see, like I keep telling people, all this corruption that we're seeing, their time is up. If you read the lessons and everything, the European hybrid time is up to rule. The things is coming back to us. So they basically, we got to clean everything up before it get fully turned back over to us, or it will fully fall back down. But see, it's all showing us for us to learn these lessons of the past. That's why, like I be telling people, the things I went through, I didn't get mad at. I could have easily fought these people, got out, bare arms, went back down there and did some blood with them. But I was like, no. The key is like the master teacher Tar say, don't get mad, get wise. Get wise. Study more, study harder. See, okay, now they done violated this. Okay, so now I know I got them on this, and I'm gonna go apply that. And that's the whole key, is never get discouraged. And they do this type of stuff to discourage you, to make you, oh, this too hard, I give up. They doing too much. Oh, they coming after me. That should let you know that you really on the path right there. Oh, they coming after me. I'm getting noticed now. Oh, they want me. They want to challenge me. That let me know that I'm doing something right with this information. If they want to challenge me, I'm like, out of all these Moors who they can snatch up and do all this stuff to, they want to challenge me. You know what I'm saying? They let me know, yeah, they eat, and that's what make me study more and stay on the path and live the life accordingly. Like, this should make you want to embrace this even more. Like, this is real. It's like the gang members was telling me. They was like, yeah, it's like us banging. We get shot, or when our homeboys get shot, we not gonna put our flag down. We gonna ride even harder. Like this, we know it's real now. And I'm like, that's the same way it is with us Moors when we go through what we go through. It's like we seeing it. Like, they really don't like this nationality because of what it comes with, the heritage that it comes with, the knowledge that it comes with, the confidence that it puts the one living it in. But like I keep telling people, we don't have that confidence of, we think we better than everybody. You're my slave because I'm a Moor, bow down to me. I'm like, bro, that's so ancient mindset. I'm like, we're past that mindset. Don't you know we got documentation? We're reading it up here, letting you know, like, this is how we felt the first time. So if we looking at how we felt the first time, according to us talking, we're not going back to that way of life, because we're not finna be rebelled against.
Islam more that right there is part of the infiltration, because when you study Tripoli, which is really what do you call it, Trinidad, this is y'all got to study the Triple Alliances, how it starts in America all the way back to the Aztecs, and then it's a Triple Alliance dealing with Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. Then they take the Triple Alliance and push it outside of America with Hungary, Germany, and Uruguay. No, is it Uruguay? I can't remember. I can't remember the third one. But these triple alliances is mimicking Tripoli and the Trinity and all that stuff. But it's showing us a time where the Moors, the Christians, and the Jews, when they was called Druze, crazy, right? Druze.
Mm-hmm.
When they were all in Tripoli together, living in the court, when nobody was like, forcing anybody in other religions, nobody was forced converting anybody. Christians and Moors and Druze were all living together, and they called the Druze the Muwahadun.
No more happy.
And it's crazy because the movie Dune, they call the Messiah boy, they call him the Muhadib. So I'm like, Muhadun is the Druze, but the Dune movie is Muhadib. It was just crazy. I was like, damn, a whole another like wormhole opened up. But like when you under the Moors, it was peace. Our subjugation wasn't slavery. It was what they call indentured servitude. Like they wanted to work for us so they could get their provisions. It wasn't like a forced slavery. This is all that story they pushed on us. So it got the European who don't know nothing scared of something that he hasn't even really looked into, which is the peace. Was living in a Moorish controlled land.
Right, because
they're all tripping off of damn 9/11.
Right, and and not just that, interject this. They teach us the story about Abraham Lincoln being European. Well, really, he was more, and he didn't really care about slavery like that. He just cared about the Union and keeping it together. And the South held the most money, the most power, because they had everything going at that particular point in time, as far as the cotton plantations, and everybody was getting their clothes and stuff from here. That's when trade and everything was like that going on, and it was all about the bag. They started putting tariffs on the South because they was afraid of them overstepping and going, breaking ties with the Union, as far as the North and the South had to do with as far as commerce. So the whole thing about abolishing slavery with Abraham Lincoln was really not intended to, as far as that, because the Europeans was really being treated fairly, as far as housing and land was already given to them, as far as them living on a plantation and really living off the natural resources here. So it really wasn't a point like they pushed slavery on that narrative, as far as how people looking at it. Oh, you just was a slave and you was whipped, and it wasn't like Kasir said, like really like indentured servitude. A lot of Europeans worked to get land and become industrious for themselves too. So it was like, as far as looking at history and breaking it down and comprehending what was really going on back in the day, about how money was really getting made here, and how everything was really put as far as a civil war and all this, that, and the third, when in actuality, a civil war didn't even take place in that aspect.
So how come they talk about the Spanish came up? So watch this. 1491, there's a surrender of Granada treaty, which the Moors got given permission to go wherever they wanted to go. Now, it's funny how they start this whole, right after that, they start with the conquering of the conquest of the Aztecs by the Spanish.
Right.
Like right after the damn, the Granada so-called over there was sold. Well, then why the hell did they come to a bigger, better place? Because when you look how big Spain is, or so-called Spain, right? Alan News, when you look how big that is, and when you type in Google Spanish Empire, look how big the Spain part is, and look at how big the part is in America. It's goddamn damn near the whole Americas.
Right.
So how could this be the secondary Spain if that one is way, way smaller? How do you conquer everybody over here with that small place? Let's just take the whole Iberian Peninsula, including Britain, all together. Portugal,
Islam.
Spain, Britain, right?
Yeah.
And then bring them all over here and try to conquer us. It's not enough.
Thank you.
Not only that, they went to a portion of Africa and took out more people than Africa could even hold and put them over here. How?
You see what I'm saying? And that's how you know, going back when we say that we're Asiatics, not Africans, you can look at the old map and look at the continent of what they call Asia and look at Africa. You can see Asia is twice as big as the place they call Africa. So it's telling you that Africa, the name Africa, come out of Asia. It just broke off from that part. Like when people realized, okay, the whole world was one. North Asia, South Asia, East Asia, West Asia. This is how we're Asiatics. Like, and it's like you can't get around it. It's like I don't understand why people keep trying to break up information, place it over here, place it over there. Like all you need is some ingenious minds. They can put them puzzles back together.
Just like that, just like the whole part of the maps that we show on a daily basis, as far as the longitude and latitude too. And as Moors, we have old maps that show the connection between Asia Major, which we are in Asia Major on the furthest east, before they started turning the maps upside down and swapping the coordinates and making up these new maps of coordinations and stuff like that. And as far as the fly zones, as far as the airplanes too, because they have different charters on certain coordinates that they have business contracts doing business as certain countries. Okay, so once you start breaking things down and doing the mathematics on everything, then you understand that everything that they put forth to us to take and eat up is not really what it seems. Once you start doing the knowledge to it and breaking it down and going through science and being objective about certain information, because every information that you get, you're supposed to have cross references and a foundation to what it's coming from. And then from that point on, that's when you start puzzling and putting things together. Just like you were saying earlier, Malik, about the certain map as far as the not the Indians you were saying, but over here as far as we were talking about that earlier, and Tartary and everything like that, and the Asiatics forming as the old Olmecs too, because they have a lot to do with the ancient Chinese. See what I'm saying? So, and the heads was found over here on this side, most of them, majority, all of them, really. So that's what really the connection of, like I was saying earlier, Prester John, and how he was a Moor, and how he was a I forgot the word they used. It was like a nefarious. I gotta look it up. I forgot the word they used for him, because he was like Orthodox. You know what I mean?
That was Genghis Khan's uncle.
Yeah.
Tuggeroo.
Yeah. Because you know how like they generalizing characters like in Marvel. Well, they'll say he was like a Doctor Strange. That's how great he was, Prester John.
Because all the Spanish was following. It was rumored that he had access to a land in the east that nobody ever seen before. So they all came over to Asia and was looking for the land, and nobody ever seen. They couldn't find it there. So they went further east to a hidden land that they spoke about and landed in so-called California, which was back then Mexico. So when they found and crossed the damn Red Sea from the Baja Peninsula, when they got to that land, they seen it was the promised land from the book of the Bible that they read all the time, or that's what they deemed it. That was Eden. They got rumors of the indigenous from out there of hidden gold temples called the city of Cibola, the 7 golden cities. It go all the way into Shibalba.
Yeah, Shibalba, yeah.
XI Balba, right? XI is this damn Olmecs.
Olmecs, yeah, because that's the connection.
Mayan, But we speak about languages, language changing, Mayan language, Aztec language, Toltec, Holtec. But that Olmec was the original old like
Olmec.
Yeah.
like the OG.
Yep.
That's Saturn right there. That's Father Time.
Father Time. Yep.
Islam.
The Quizzicodas too. We can't forget them. We got to put them in there too. Yeah.
The serpent deities.
The serpent deities.
Because these people, it's crazy, bro. The serpent represents the rings, right? And then the great deity or Kukulkan or whatever, that will represent the Saturn or the timekeeper.
Right.
So like we got the rings of Saturn, and then when you look at it, it looks like an eye. It becomes the eye of Anu or the eye of Horus. We're not really the high priest of Anu. We are Anu.
Anu, yeah.
It's freaky.
So
yes. High priest people was the ones that was worshiping us.
Right.
We remember we were the same exact people as we are now back in ancient times. Same slang, same mindset, the way we look at everything all weird and the way we ain't doing that. Like we got our own way of it. It was just like that in ancient times. You never lost your mind, you just forgot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sleep.
That's why they fear us so much when we wake up. It's like they looking at from the stories that they're being taught in these lodges. This is why these Masons fear us, because when they see one of us in live display standing on what is supposed to be for real, everything that they're talking about in their lodges, laughing at in their stories, they're seeing it happen in real time. So they like, oh snap, like it's not just a story to us no more. Like this is for real. Like they really are like this. And it's like, they don't want us to be that way because it's like they want to keep living in the fantasy world that, oh, we can think of these stories and we can talk of these stories, but we can't live these stories. That they seeing everything that they sitting there talking about that they place in their movies, they seeing in real time. Just like I was telling the brothers when we was locked up, because the movie came on about Martin, the Black Knight. I was like, they was under our servitude then. That's why they kept saying, when they kept calling him a Moor, they kept saying it in that sarcastic way, Moor, or watch your mouth, Moor, because they was under our servitude. I'm like, all you got to do is look at the documentation, and you will see that they was under our servitude. Even looking at the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, where he was saying that the way that we treat them is the same way that we should treat how we treating them over there on the same footing as what's going on in Spain. This is how I know that, okay, if they making a treaty over here and they calling this the most favored nation, that everything come from over here, that's why they don't want us to claim it being Moorish American, because it's putting us in the driver's seat. And it's like, yeah, we know that y'all are the most ancient ones, but they looking at the ones that's fiat chasing, doing these scams and schemes. So it's making the nation look like, man, they ain't learned nothing. But then when they deal with us or see us, they want to associate us too with that. But them like, no, through our displays, through our works and deeds, they see like, wow, like they not these same type of Moors that we used to dealing with. Like they really into this science for real, like the ancient times. These are the ancient ones that we keep reading about, studying about in the lodge. They done awoken, like they're awakened. I'm pretty sure through their teachers in the lodge, they've been told over and over through the generation, these Moors that we reading about are gonna wake back up. And one of these generations, y'all looking to see these minds that we reading about wake back up. And that's why they in fear, because they seeing it. They like, man, these minds that we talk about in these lodges woke back up. Like they're everywhere now. We can't even stop them. And I think Allah allowed it to be this way this time. Instead of us all being under one place, he allowed us to be spread out so we can hit them from every angle. It's like we don't know which way to go. The attack, they don't know which way to go to attack. So even like somebody just now watching this channel, they'll think all of us are in the same place. Don't know that none of us are in the same territories, that we all are in different territories, but we on the same divine path.
That's right.
Islam.
Islam.
Noble Real, Islam. Noble Real, you there? You're not hearing you.
Yeah, they don't understand that, man. That's it, and that's how I tell people. That's it, how I look at it. Like I already know when I was locked down, I already know y'all was still out here fighting. I said, man, I already know my brothers them out here fighting for me. Once they hear about what's going on, they are the fight is gonna be continued to happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the Quran say, like when most people looking when they going through this, they looking for a supernatural something to happen, supernatural, like some supernatural powers or being to appear before them. You are that supernatural being. Your
Yeah.
knowledge is the supernatural. That's the subconscious. That's the super conscious. Like the knowledge, the divinity. That's where the divinity come from. Everything starts from that thought. Like, wait a minute. And when you start unlocking them keys and you standing on it for real, your heart here, you're gonna display it like without even trying to, like you're gonna display like what it's supposed to be if your heart is pure. And it's like you gonna unlock keys. That's why you are to constantly study. That's why the prophets say study, study, study. And when you finish, you ask me what else to study. I say go back and study yourself. Because once you learn who you are as a Moor, as that being, you like, wait a minute, I am the Grand Sheik, I am the Mufti, I am the authorized representative over my life. Like, this is the position that I'm supposed to take and be in, not a cocky attitude, like, oh, I'm better than the next man. This is why Moors, when we're teaching other Moors, you're to teach other Moors, you're your own governor too. I might be a master teacher to you, but that don't make me the governor over you. This not big bro, little bro thing. This is big bro trying to get little bro to realize you big bro too. You know what I'm saying? That we supposed to be on the same level as big bros and not
Facts.
little bro, little bro. Big bro, little
Facts.
bro.
Yeah, because you have to look at it as far as leadership now, like sunning people, as far as sunning, that way is to mentorship and bring them up into a leader, because that's what the prophet wants us all to be, leaders, not followers. You know what I mean? So as far as the information entails, we're supposed to research it and research it thoroughly, apply it, you know what I mean? Or however the situation, if it's going to work for you, you do that. And but at the same time, the whole deal is to live upright, pure and clean, you know what I mean, and be righteous with the information, you know what I mean, because we have too much folly going on, just like JT them and a couple of more dirty Moors, etc., etc. Whoever or more, we're gonna have to scimitar. So that's why, as far as everybody have experience in being who they are, you know what I mean, and that should just make us more resilient to all the bull crap that we have to face on a daily. So Islam to you, brother Malik. You know what I mean?
Islam family. And like I tell people all the time, like when they see one of us Moors going through that, they think that you're the only Moor going through what you're going through, or it's all about you. As a righteous Moor, you supposed to let them know, no, this is why we claim our nationality. We come from a nation, so it's supposed to be a whole nation of what I'm doing, not Malik Yusuf Bey's a nation of Moors doing what I'm doing. Like probably everybody has their different way of doing it and they different type of fight, but we're all supposed to be standing up on this, displaying this to the people. Like, this is who we are. This is why they don't want us to claim it. You see how much a hard time they giving me on even proclaiming that I'm this. I ain't even really got myself like in nothing like no terrorist type of acts to pick up and going to march and protest and nothing. All I'm doing is saying who I am, and look how mad they getting. That should let you know right there that this is official. They getting this mad off me claiming my nationality. They don't get mad at nobody else saying they're German, they're Russian, they're Mexican, they're Asian, they're this and they're that. But as soon as I say I'm Moorish, oh, that's the problem. Oh, you not Moorish. Oh, this and this and that. I'm like, why?
Oh, that's a
Why?
religious
It's got to be
thing.
something to that.
Oh,
Why you
oh,
don't want me claiming this?
oh,
And then
you're
going to
religious.
study and doing the proper research, you see why they don't want you to claim it.
Yeah. They always
We
come
are
with that
that
narrative.
favorite
I'm a
nation,
religion.
as the treaty say.
Yeah.
The treaty says it. When they said the most favorite nation, now it makes sense why everybody don't like us claiming our Moorish heritage, because we are that most favorite
Favorite
nation.
nation.
And
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. Like, this is how we supposed to be carrying ourselves as the most favorite nation. Like, people really love us. Like, outside of the people who violate our national rights, everywhere that I go, people ignite. Like, I went to, like, my homeboy and them took me out to the club last Saturday. Now they charge people for hats and headgear and headwear. They let me in the club for free with my fez on. The dude who checked me at the door, he barely pat me down for one, and he told me, he was like, "Peace, God. I love that fez." My friends and them was in shock, because everything that I tell them about, people know who Moors are. When I go around with this fez on, I get love. I guess they thought I was joking till they seen it right there happen at the
Right there.
club. They like, wait a minute, this at a club now, and
Yeah.
he's getting love like that. Like, I'm like, y'all heard him, right? Y'all heard what he said. They like, yeah, we heard him. We heard. I like, now y'all see what I be talking about. That people know who we are as Moors. They know who we are.
And
And
that
I'm like,
commerce,
I don't understand why it's so hard for y'all to claim it.
that commerce being on the same foot in the Spain thing, it's like hitting messages. Like, you know about the treaties with Spain, they came into this joint as so-called servants
Yep.
to do the work to get into their positions. Same
Mhm.
footing is going to be with this United States being. You
Thank
gotta do
you.
the work to get
Thank
into your
you.
position. You don't just
Mhm.
become
Thank
that,
you.
because you don't have no birthrights, bro. You're soil based, so you have to do the work on the soil to show what you're worth. But
Mhm.
us, we're just
Thank
worth
you.
it because we're born it on the
And
Right.
soil.
really,
And we are it.
if you look up like the Patriation Act, like the Naturalization Act, they basically gave up their European nationality to be under our servitude. That's why they talk this U.S. citizen crap and try to get us to claim this U.S. citizen. That's because they want you to claim to be the corporation. They want you to claim to be under servitude too, but we can't be under servitude of ourselves. That's why they call, like, when we was reading about the Lenape, when we was doing that broadcast, and they were showing that if you call yourself an Indian or any of these tribes, you're labeled as Moorish subjects, because everything is Moorish. So it's like, if we claiming to be U.S. citizen, we're claiming to be subjects to our own self, to our own nation. Like, you're a slave to your own nation, like that. And that's why the people of the world looking at it, people who call themselves Negroes, blacks, and coloreds, it's crazy. They like, wait a minute, you know that's your nation, right? So you're claiming to be a slave to your own nation. Like,
And plus,
that's how people, you got to look at how they looking at us when we don't claim our nationality. They like, wait a minute, you claiming to be a subject to something that's yours.
right.
Like, you
And
don't
plus,
want to
United
claim
States
something that's
citizen, you
yours.
can't be that, because in law you can't be a United States citizen. That's a corporation that been insolvent. So when you claim to be that, you know what I mean, that's really a violation. You know what I mean? That's why they have to put you up on the Negro, colored, black, African American, and have you up under the 14th, 15th, and 16th Amendment. You see what I'm saying?
That's why they all challenged it in this congressional record in 1957.
Mm-hmm.
All the way from like the only state that didn't ratify with it was Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah.
Was on it. So when we talk about this voting and what it takes to make something a law, they didn't pass either the Senate vote for the law or the 3/4.
Right. Because all of it has been what?
2/3, whatever. They ain't passed it.
Yeah. It's been Cindy I. and law. So everybody that's doing jurisdiction now is really proceeding through the 1829 Constitution that these people have made up. You see what I'm saying? Which we dealing with now, the corporations.
Oh, that brings me to a good meaning.
Yeah.
The lawful meaning of credit in Black's Law Dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
See, these people they claim credit. Well, let's see how they get the credit.
Yeah, full faith now, more.
It say right here, the credit of the government is founded on a belief of its ability to comply with its engagements and a confidence in its honor that it will do that voluntarily, which it cannot be compelled to do. Now, if you have confidence in the honor of the United States, if you believe in its ability to comply with the engagements and you see all of the stuff that has happened through history, then you are the one applying the credit to an unworthy jurisdiction calling itself government.
Yeah, because you remember 1836 United States Statutes at Large, 8 statute, 100 to 105, and the 484, 487 treaty series. 244, 1 and TS through 244 through the second paragraph of non-bivians of 1286, respectfully, is the true jus sole imperial lawful Moorish paramount title to the Americas in total, which are the dominions of the Al-Moroccan Empire, but it is included and subjected to the Paleo-American autochthonous aboriginals, droit, just sanguinis and paramount natural law, title to the Americas in total. See Black's Laws Dictionary, 4th edition, 1968, prior, tempere, portror, jur. He who is first in time is preferred in right. Quoto priest, juris ves est et quod prius est tempore. Portus est jur. What is first is true, and what is first in time is better in law. Where two ranks concur, the more ancient shall be preferred. Quoto du jura concur una and una persona gera est alcon. And you know that's how it's the deal in law.
Yeah, you was muffled more, like phone was ringing.
Yeah, I was getting a phone call that was interrupted. Like every time I go into trying to teach it, like somebody hits my phone or whatever.
That's the only time that happened too. That's the
How can we
only time
forget,
people
Morris?
call you.
How can we forget? God, bring these people to some new stuff that just took place. Y'all know about HR 3684? Hey, this Mr. Biden has did a little House resolution with his fake hand. I don't even know how he signs this stuff. But it supposedly is basically it's regulating the hell out of Bitcoins, guys. So if you do anything privately with Bitcoins over $10,000, they checking you. Now, wait. Ain't that what they was doing with the fiat?
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
HR 3684. Now watch this, Morris.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Moore. Go ahead, Moore. We ready.
Demons.
Yep. It was being regulated, not to cut your wisdom more, but that's what the whole thing was about, was to regulate it and to subjugate it like they do any and everything else. And I don't know why people was trying to jump on this wave like Bitcoin is just something. Okay, all right.
Block.
Go ahead, Moore.
Was the code. Moore is block and chain. Anyway. Controversial Bitcoin tax provision passes Congress with infrastructure bill. It's unclear when President Biden plans to sign the measure. Oh, no, he already signed it. Yeah, he signed it. It's okay. On Friday, happy holiday, Morris. Congress passed the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package, sending the legislation to President so-and-so for his sign of nature, for his signature. But while the measure makes historic investments in the road and bridges, it also maintains a controversial new cryptocurrency tax reporting requirement. The Treasury Department could apply to minors. Whoa, minors like minors? No, it's spelled miners. But do hear that the way you heard it, the way you're supposed to hear it, minors. So my Bitcoin miners are just minors. Watch. Biden's Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act requires brokers, this is the Bitcoin people, to report trader information on transaction of more than 10,000 to the IRS.
See? Subjugation, more subjugation.
So wait, they about to tax the hell out of these
Get out of
Bitcoins,
it.
and they want to come back off the Bitcoin and regenerate their crap. Happy-go-lucky, Morris. Because you watch how these people the Chamber of Digital Commerce and Coin Center have argued that the bill's current language is too broad and vague. Impose these reporting requirements to miners and wallet developers and pocket watchers and wallet watchers, not just brokers like Coinbase. Oh my gosh. Everybody's getting it.
Paid.
So crypto tax reporting is important, but it must be done correctly. The lawmakers wrote an August letter. They about to tax the damn shit. I thought it was untaxed.
Taxable. I thought it was the new thing to do to be sovereign, and this is the perfect thing to do. Come on over here and get your crypto. It's the new wave. It's gonna be the way economic freedom. You ain't got to worry about the government in your business. Come on over here, get you some Bitcoin. Come get Bitcoin.
They should have figured that. They should have figured that shit out when it was 65,000 a coin.
Of course, more. Of course.
And then you say how much you say? 65?
Yeah, 65.
I think it just dropped to 40.
It's on point because why does the 65 in this next paragraph? Aside from the cryptocurrency reporting rules, the infrastructure package, they selling the infrastructure package, includes billions of dollars to improve roads, bridges, and other physical infrastructure across the so-called country. The measures include $65 billion to connect every American household to high-speed broadband over the next 10 years. There's over $7.5 billion to build over 500,000 EV charging stations. Now, wait a minute, more. Where they getting all this money from? I thought they was bankrupt.
I thought they was bankrupt too. So they have to be
selling green.
Bitcoin.
So what they're doing is with the new infrastructure is what they call the new Green Deal, right, Moore? What they was about to launch on our ass is the new Green Deal when they say that the end of the world is about to come and it's what the new Green Deal is with the chemtrails and all that stuff that they've been doing, talking about the world is about to end if we don't change the environment, you know what I mean, and this, that, and the third. Yeah, because that's what the whole AI and everything. This is what they've been trying to spring on us. And back in the day, they used to be like, "No, I'm not going to accept the 666, the mark of the beast. And they're not going to. It's going to be hell and high water." But now
something happened 10 days ago. These people late. Bitcoin and Ether. Now think about it. They call this coin Ether. Bitcoin and Ether slide for the second day, weighing on altcoins as investors cash in on crypto on a record highs. Now wait, cashing it? That sounds like what happened with the stock.
With the stock market, and that sounds like, and that's the same thing that been going down up under the pedo radar, doing all this human trafficking and all this drinking blood on dark net, huh? So you got
money
people,
out of them Bitcoin.
you got these people already getting money and flipping the dark market into the light now, right? After they dirty it up, now they want to give it to you. That's what they say, sloppy seconds. You know what I mean? So that's how they want to do.
Islam.
Islam.
Quote unquote money, and the fact is that they're doing all types of distractions. Remember, they have to try every weak mind.
Right.
What's interesting is how they can't do nothing but the same thing over and over. So
Over and again. Yep.
6
Yep.
a week. Now,
Exactly.
Right.
long ago when they were having the debacles that they were trying to claim were civil wars, you had script, right? And
Mm-hmm.
these scripts were supposed to be the currency exchange for that particular unit.
Mm-hmm.
But our law said no, gold and silver shall be the exchange of
Change.
currency.
Right.
And that remains the same. Now, Bitcoin comes the closest to that, thing. So they try to catch the weak minds, even in the strong ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised how many are running
Right.
behind it. But all that running is a distraction from what we ought to be doing, which is setting the record back in order.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All
And
right.
getting and putting the
Malik,
gold standard and gold standard and silver bullion back on, as real currency. You know what I mean?
Now-
back in
But it
back in
doesn't
our
matter
money.
if that's back if our minds are still behind and not back.
Right.
That's the point. And that's where they keep losing us and chasing us and finding us and taking us. And until we stand on our tool, until we apply our law, ourself, and we all getting our lessons according to what portions we ought to have learned and now coming for the challenge. And I was just ready to go on a little tangent to give my honest commendation and respect to Brother Malik, because what I hear coming from him today, I mean, he still have the body of all the knowledge, yet I see that he went across that bridge that I had to cross, which is to calm down and start dealing with things according to the first principle.
Right.
And you can hear it in his voice, you can hear it in his message, you can get more out of it and all. It kind of reminds me of when back in the day, because when we talk about the Nation of Islam and all them and Clarence 13X and all them, what we realize, like Brother Kasher said earlier, is that there are different degrees in these different quote-unquote religions. Right. Now, what most folks haven't seen, see, I was a reader from day one, and I came along in 55, and I don't know really what time, but I know I started loving books early. And what I saw was maps pertaining to Asia Major and Asia Minor as the only world. Yeah. Okay, so now when they came along with all the names and stuff, that was a whole different picture to deal with later on down the line. Right. When I looked back at everything, I saw that everything came from one. Those were the principles. All right. And going off course of our principles, we'll get lost every trip. Right. Holding on to our principles, nothing can fool us, nothing can distract us. As the prophet and the Circle 7 told us, the truth is always here. Right. The truth was never hidden. You just chose to ignore it. No. Right. And that's what we have to do, is get back on not ignoring the truth. And that's why we have to know ourselves, because we have to know what pulls us off of the truth path. What are the things that we're weak in? What are the things that we're strong in?
Ego and acceptance.
Ego and lower selves. Yeah. Ego and
lower
self.
But those same things have strengths in them as well. Because they all have a lesson that elevates us and brings us up to that mature state. And that's the beauty of it all, is that knowing the tools. In other words, two people with a hammer, one knocks somebody in the head with his, the other builds a house. Right. All right, so you can't say the hammer is evil. The hammer is ignorant. No, it took a life body. That's why we are the law itself.
Mm-hmm.
When we do a document, we putting our spirit in writing. That's a live thing going forth. And
Mm-hmm.
trust me, they do know the difference between who sent in what based on, the spirit of what goes in that live document.
Mm-hmm.
They know
And the
whether it's
basis
coming in live or coming in
in the
half dead.
mm-hmm, and the basis of law. So that's why it's prevalent for Moors to always study everything. Because our prophet told us, if you don't have anything else to study, study self. So those are the principles that we live by. And just like you said, um, we have to be prevalent about that, Robert. So it's the information is in the study, in the eye of the beholder, and the one that really has the competence to really convey it and stand on it and live it. You know what I mean? Upright. You know what I mean? This is not a game, and we all been through something that what I mean that brought us into the truth and better understanding and understanding and overstanding to certain situations. So as far as demonstrating and propagating the faith, and it's not just the faith, it's laws and principles that goes with the faith. So you can know and be that high priest, that high magi, you know what I mean, mystic, that bend the elements, you know what I mean, the elements of, you know what I mean. So that's how we're supposed to really move, and form like Voltron when we have to. But we all are in our own right lions, you know what I mean. So
Yes.
Islam more. You gotta get closed out right now.
All right, but before we do, just let me do this add on to what brother is saying.
You got a minute. You got a minute more.
All right. One of the most important things are our 5 principles. After love, then comes truth. Now, there are gems that will tell you that truth is the law. So we don't have to get all distracted a lot of times the way we have been. And, that's something to look into further because that's my take. And the challenge comes when we are learning these truths. And that's why, Malik, brother, you had to go through what you had to go through to see if you had elevated, and you have. That was your initiation. I give thanks. Islam. I rest.
Islam, boy.
Islam, any closing comments before we get out of here?
No more.
Yeah, I just like to say Islam to my Moorish family. Like I always knew, like through my whole ordeal, that my brothers had my back. You know what I'm saying? And the fight is still in me. It's still in us, and we gonna continue to fight until we seek victory. Victory is basically already ours. We just cleaning everything up. So in the near future, they will see us sitting on these thrones, just like the prophet and Ameliel and the rest of them. And I yield the floor on that. Islam, families.
Islam. Oh, Kasir, you got those emails?
Yeah, just got
Oh,
them.
the email? Yeah, that was last night's session.
All right, so it's gonna be on.
Yeah, should be going down.
Yeah, it's gonna be going down. Yeah.
Islam, Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers anywhere you're at. And honors to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Islam, peace and love to all the Moors. Islam.
Islam.
Islam.